Welcome to TWitWoW, the best podcast on the internet today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is the TWitWoW weekly recap. Pro wrestling, politics, and pop culture. Yeah, that's how we all doing today, everybody. I know people are probably gonna be filing in. Great to have you here as always. Um, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I was just telling Ashton this like right before we went live. I'm feeling very cozy right now. I'm feeling good. And so this might be a more tranquilo episode, at least on, my end. I know I'm usually like high energy, like, oh my god, guys, all the politics, everything happened. It's like, look, Rome is burning. I'm not gonna deny that, but I don't know. I'm in a good mood today, and I'd like that to kind of inform how I approach this episode and permitting that. Uh this is gonna sound so weird. I I feel like I almost forgot that wrestling was this week. Like not in the sense that I didn't know that Raw, NXT, and SmackDown were happening, but it's like they happened so quick, and like I really wasn't attentive. I feel like I know bits and pieces, so that just shows you how checked out I've been essentially. And yeah, that's where we're kind of at with that.
If it makes you
So I
feel
guess
any better, it was a very uneventful week, at least on Raw and SmackDown. I don't watch NXT anymore at all, but as
yeah.
far as Raw and SmackDown goes, it was a very uneventful week. Nothing happened. Even like the one cool thing that I thought we were going to start getting every week, they turned it lame already, and that's the Obafemi Open Challenge.
Yeah, I had heard complaints about that because I think it was Angel and Umberto that answered, but it
They
really
didn't.
wasn't like an answer.
No, that's the thing. Like Pierce came out and was like, "Listen, Oba, nobody wants to fight you. Nobody's going to answer your open challenge. So, for now at least, the Obafemi Open Challenge is over." And then Oba went backstage and attacked Angel and Berto and dragged them out and put them in the ring and made the ref ring the bell and obviously beat them 2v1. But like he already beat the Viking Raiders or the War Raiders 2v1. Why should we be impressed by this?
Yeah, like the stuff like this really makes me believe what we've been hearing about like AI being used for storylines, because you're telling me that or either that or the human writers are just really getting lazy and they're just like, I don't really know what to do. Let's just scrap it, because this is some like Hogan Bischoff era TNA shit to me, where it's either like you just abandon a story or it goes completely off the rails. Like it's not good to me that we're already kind of doing this with Oba. You do this open challenge and they don't even really commit to it in that way. And I love Oba to death, and I think they absolutely did make the right call having him beat Lesnar, hell, having him retire Lesnar at Mania, so it's not like it's been a train wreck with him. I'm not trying to say like, oh, he's buried or anything like that. But if the end game is him and Reigns at SummerSlam, which I'm still committed to that being, you need to keep that steam going until August, right? And if you're doing it through open challenges, just being like, because I feel like logically you would do an open challenge so that he could say to Roman when they inevitably meet up, I've beaten everybody, but like, what matters most to me is beating you and taking that world title and just being the man, or however you'd want to frame it. That's fine. But if you're already giving up on it, and what has it only been 2 weeks, 3 weeks at most? It's like, what the hell are we doing?
Dude,
So that's really
he's
disappointing.
done one open challenge and it ended up being Otis.
Yeah, and that was fun because I love Otis, and I mean, the lamentations I have about Otis because I feel like more could have been done with him,
Yeah.
in the past. But yeah, like you're telling me Rusev couldn't have answered this, because I saw that
Mm-hmm.
Javon got a win over him. And I really like Rusev, and I'm not going to pontificate if he should be used differently or whatever. I'm not watching the product. I'm not really in a position to say that. But you're telling me Rusev couldn't do it, especially with Oba being a babyface very
I
fucking
almost have to
clearly.
wonder if maybe they're not going to Rusev because we already had something like this earlier this year where Oba was kind of getting built up and Rusev tried to challenge him and Oba just beat him anyway. So I wonder if like Rusev is like tucked his tail between his legs and admitted to himself that Oba is better than him.
Yeah, yeah,
Plus,
I
we've
don't
got
know, but
Rusev in the middle of something else.
yeah, well, I mean, I think he, again, Javon did get a victory over him on Raw, apparently, according to this like YouTube title, like video thing. I haven't obviously watched. I'm just looking at the YouTube channel right now. But yeah, that's really the problem. Like Oba's such a big star. And really, I almost have to wonder, even though he is so young, and I have no problem with him being a full-time guy, if maybe they should take him off TV a little bit and use him like more sparingly. Because how are you going to have him be a consistent act if already in kayfabe you're saying nobody wants to fight you? How are you going to keep that steam alive
I
until again
mean,
SummerSlam?
if
You
you're
know?
writing well and you're
Yeah,
trying to sell the gimmick that he's such a dominant force that nobody wants to fight him, then you should be booking him in championship matches, because if nobody else wants to fight him, then he should get his pick of the litter. And if he gets his pick of the litter would obviously be a champion to try and win a title.
yeah. Like
Who is
honestly,
the
I wouldn't
current
even
U.S. champ right
the current US champ. That's a great question.
now?
I'm
Because I know
blanking on
Dom
this.
lost it. Who did Dom lose it
Well,
to?
Well, Dom was the Intercontinental. Remember, Intercontinental title is Raw.
Oh, well,
And we're
then
talking about
who's
Raw.
the Intercontinental champion right now? That's what I meant to say then.
I thought it was Penta still. I think it's Penta still.
Penta. Shit. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You don't really want to send Oba out there against Penta, but you could have Rusev beat Penta for it and then have Oba beat Rusev for it very quickly.
Yes, yes. And Trick Williams is the U.S. champion. I don't know why I forgot that because Trick has been on a roll
No,
and they're
no.
embracing
See,
his
and
business now.
truthfully, I know that Trick is the mid card champion on SmackDown. I just can't keep the U.S. and Intercontinental titles straight, which show that each one's on.
Right, and that's understandable. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's one route they could go. I wouldn't even mind, and I think it would be kind of comical. But then again, I don't trust this instantiation of WWE to really do comedy like all that well. Like if you just stuck Oba with a partner and he won the tag titles by himself, kind of the way that Amos kind of won the tag titles by himself, but he had fucking AJ Styles as his partner, so AJ could like carry the load. But like maybe you even just put Oba with like a schmuck, right? Like a fucking I hate to use this as an example because I mean fuck that guy, but like a James Ellsworth-esque character, right? And
Right.
he just wins the titles and he's kind of defending them by himself, and then just one day a tag team just happens to pin the schmuck in the match because maybe they get too big for their britches and they're like, I've got this Oba, and then they lose. Like that could also kill some time. And then Oba just destroys his former partner because it's like you ruined this for me. There are things you could do. I'm not saying
I
they're all
think
good things,
right
but there are
now,
things you could do.
just given what they've already done, I think the best way to continue this story is to have Pierce trade Oba to SmackDown. Then you have Oba get something to do. You have him get sort of like a refreshed pool of opponents, or in this case, victims. You could have him, and here's the reason it wouldn't necessarily be the best idea is because it feels like they're clearly building him up to beat Roman. But if they want to pivot from that and maybe build up to have him beat Cody, since Cody's clearly not the most popular babyface on the roster, you could have him beat Trick, who's well, god damn, that's he's popular too. So yeah, I think maybe the big problem here is that there are just too many babyface champions right now, and that Oba is suffering from that issue.
Yeah, like say what you will about Dominic Mysterio, but if he was still Intercontinental Champion, which I mean, I'm happy for Penta that he's got the hardware, but Dom has got so much hate, and he's like such a fucking weasel as a character. Imagine an Obafemi demolishing that dude. It would
Yeah,
be very similar to me to when Gunther kind of picked him apart, and I popped the hell for that. So yeah, it's just very interesting that we're already seemingly at an impasse with Oba, and we're only in mid-May.
I think
That's
yeah, like
really bad.
yeah. Well, then this though, you know what though, this is why I expected there to be a King of the Ring tournament, because King of the Ring usually happens right around like May June ish. At least that's what it's been recently. I have to emphasize that because I know that it used to be, like in the 90s, it might not have necessarily happened at that exact same time. Um, but it doesn't seem like they're doing a King of the Ring tournament this year, which is wild because there is literally no better year to do King of the Ring than 2026 when you have a white hot Obafemi whose gimmick is literally the ruler. And especially when the most recent King of the Ring tournaments, you've made the prize a world title shot at SummerSlam, which you already want to give Oba anyway. Why would you not give him this? It is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Moving on from this, let's see, because again, I did not watch Raw at all, so it's hard to talk about. So I did see the clip of how Io beat Sol Ruka. I didn't see the full match. I'm guessing it was good, because I mean, it just sounds like you got ingredients for like a fire fucking match. Um, And you know what though? It's a different track. Like I'm normally used to people coming up and racking wins and like having early momentum. I'm almost glad that that's not the way it is with Soul, because I think when she does get the big wins, it's going to matter more because this isn't like a usual path. And especially, I mean, there's no shame in losing to Io Sky, who is one of the best wrestlers on the goddamn planet. So that happened. Very cool there. Speaking of Io. I know there was a video, and I think I watched it, but it's kind of hazy because I watched it I think when it first dropped, so like 5 days ago. That Asuka and Io kind of had like a goodbye hug, and so there's still like a lot of questions about
Yeah,
what's going on with
I am
Asuka.
so confused by what they are doing with Asuka. Like, I feel very, um, I mean, first of all, confused. I think that's the most upfront emotion that I'm going through with the Asuka situation. But part of me also feels kind of, um, not betrayed. That's the wrong word. I think it's like, I'm having a hard time with words right now. It's like it was like sudden. It was so sudden. I feel like it was like
Abrupt.
it was abrupt. It was that's not the word that I'm that's not the emotion that I'm trying to come up with. I feel like bombarded. Not bombarded. That's not right either.
Whiplash wouldn't be the
Surprised.
word either.
No, it's like it's synonyms for surprise. It's like surprised. I was surprised in a bad way.
Shocked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, shocked. That's not right either.
Stunned.
Yeah, that's also true. Flummoxed is a good one.
Bewildered.
Yeah, bewilders is a good one. We're getting the idea. We're getting the idea.
Yeah.
Um, because it just feels like it was out of nowhere. It feels like there were no hints, there were no reports. Nobody was like, there were like no like points on commentary about Asuka's age and how like, oh, her career might be winding down. Like when it happened with AJ Styles, they went out of their way to be like, AJ's on his last contract. We don't know how much longer he's going to be around. This might be his last match. With Asuka, it's like she loses one match to Io after having this whole story basically thrown in the fucking garbage by creative with her and Kairi. And now all of a sudden, like we're getting like signs of respect, and she's leaving. What the fuck? Where did this come from?
Yeah, dude, I completely agree with you on this. Just absolutely,
And I
and this
think
is
the
why
most
I hate.
annoying thing about it is that commentary is acting like this was like a known thing that they were expecting, and it's like, okay, well, if you guys were expecting it, why didn't you fucking tell us?
And again, I just resoundingly agree with you because I feel like it's kind of lost sometimes that commentary's primary function is, to relay information to the viewer or to kind of be in the viewer position, and to be that conduit, so to speak. And you just completely left us in the lurch. Um, I think you hit on perfectly why I hated beyond the job loss and like the emotional investment and everything else, why I hated the utter collapse of this story because it comes off to me. And again, keep in mind, I'm like you, I'm very disconnected, probably even more disconnected because I know your mom still watches this stuff, so you're kind of getting secondhand contact. Which, when it's bad, I'm so sorry. But it comes off to me like Asuka was just testing Io the whole time or some shit. Like, oh, I was being crazy and abusive because I wanted to see you
That
stand
is
up to your senpai or
exactly
whatever.
the story that they're trying to tell now. Is that's like, yeah, like Asuka told Io, like, I'm so glad that I found someone that could take over as my successor, basically.
And like, I'm sorry, I love them both, but no. No,
Exactly.
like I reject this. Like I I know this is a really tenuous connection, but recently like I've been watching like old American Dad episodes and like old clips. And the one that I was really harping to you about and like really talking excessively about because it had that whole like prank call sub story was an episode in season 2, Bullock's to Stan, which is where Bullock, Stan's boss, is dating Stan's daughter Haley, and the age gap is gross and everything else. But at the end, Stan beats the crap out of Bullock, and Bullock knows, like, he's gonna kill me. And then he tries to be like, oh, I was testing you, and all these people are, but you could tell that it's bullshit. And this is the same thing, like, Asuka, and again, I love her as a performer, but in character, she was terrible. You were terrible. You yelled at Kairi, you berated her, like you blamed her for losses. You were very confrontational with Io, especially when Io first had her friendship with Rhea and being like, you left us, you betrayed us, and Asuka took it very personally. Let's not forget the videos, which I thought were really well done on Kana-chan TV of Asuka just talking about like what wrestling means to her and her coming up through the system and what her bond with Io meant to her and all this stuff. And then you're gonna do this about face like, who cares that I abused your best friend? The same best friend, by the way, because again, if you actually did wrestling properly, you could tell emotionally gut wrenching stories. God, I miss peak Lucha Underground. Kylie once told a story where I think she had like an allergic shock, like an anaphylactic shock or whatever, and she had to go to the ER, and Io was holding her hand. Like that's the kind of bond they fucking have, and Asuka abused that woman. She abused Kylie. There's no other way to say it. As a character, again, I want to stress. And so to do this about me is being like, I was really good the whole time. I had to bring it out of you. No, no, I reject this. I fundamentally reject this. And really, to me, and it's funny that I'm getting so playfully heated about it when again I don't watch, but I feel like it's just so insulting to viewer intelligence.
Mhm.
Like if AEW has the problem where it's like you have to watch too much to be an engaged viewer and to be rewarded for your viewership, I think WWE almost kind of mocks you for watching. At least this instantiation. Like, why are you watching this? Like, we're just gonna do what we want. There's no coherence or fidelity to stories, anything like that. You're the stupid one for watching this and asking these questions. Like they would look at me right now and they'd say like, well, shut up, Mark, and enjoy the show. Which I've always hated that because pro wrestling is a cultural artifact like anything else. I'm not going to just shut up and enjoy a TV show. I'm not just going to shut up and enjoy a movie. I'm going to have questions. And the really good movies and TV shows will make you have dialogues after and have questions. Pro wrestling is the same way. So you can't just say like, oh, stop being a smart mark, enjoy the show. You botch this. You really just unequivocally botch this, seismically botch this. And I think it's an insult to the viewer. I think it's an insult to Asuka and the career that she's had because now they're trying to paint the story like she's on the way out. What a horrible last story to be a part of. This
Mhm.
amazing performer that was able to really, as a foreigner, where her English, it definitely got better, but she never really had a strong command of the language, but it didn't matter because she could get on the mic and her body language and her passion, even in her native language, like people got it. People understood her. What a fucking performer. And I just got done saying, one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and she is in her fucking bag right now and has been, I think, for like over a year, if not 2 years, because she's loved being a babyface. And this is what you give them both. Not to mention, of course, Kairi, who lost her fucking job, who I actually was really excited about finally getting a big story where she could maybe go back to being a single star and get a nice babyface pop. You disservice so many people in this,
Yeah,
and you just expect us to forget about it. Like, it's just insulting to me. So,
it is.
um,
No, you're right though.
yeah,
It is.
yeah, just very insulting to you, to me, to all of us. Because time's something you don't get back. So if I'm choosing to sit and watch your 3 hour program, um, actually no, is Raw 2 hours again?
Raw's two and a
I'm
half. Raw's been two and a
Raw's
half the
two.
whole time since it went to Netflix.
Yeah, Raw's 2.5. Yeah, that's my mistake. Okay, so that's my bad. But either way, it could be an hour show. Time invested is time you don't get back.
Yeah.
Don't fucking insult me when I'm watching your shit. Um, so yeah, I guess that's my little rant that I didn't expect, but there you go. Um, God, dude, I was so disconnected from everything this week. I don't even know what's worth talking about. Like, I'm seeing that Joe Hendry teamed with the Street Profits against the Vision. Love the
Oh
Street
no,
Profits.
that I mean, yeah, that sucked. That was. I mean, there's nothing about that that's worth talking about to me.
Well, there you go. Judgment Day laying lace to Paige and Brie Bella, which I cannot stress enough how much I hate that those two are women's tag team champions. Um, but
The
it's
worst
where we're at
part
right now.
about a nightmare scenario starting is when it doesn't end.
Yeah, dude, you're so right. Fuck. Um, so I guess the only other big thing from Raw, I mean, Jacob Fatu apparently obliterated Roman Reigns again with the Tongan death grip. Um, did you see this? Because again, I know like your mom watches products, so you get like secondhand contact, and I guess for some things you'd be more attentive to because it has people in it you care about. Did you see this? Because I didn't watch this.
Are you talking about Jacob attacking Roman?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Jacob obliterating
I
Roman. Yes.
saw it. Yeah.
Okay, how did it play off to you? Like, what were your thoughts on this?
There were moments in it where it came off like Jacob was turning full blown heel, but then there were other moments in it where it seemed like he was staying like tweener badass cool guy. Like it's It seems like they're really trying to turn him heel, but I think he's just too cool to fully be committed as a full blown bad guy heel.
Which, first of all, I agree with you.
Because
So let me just
Roman's an
acknowledge what, yeah,
asshole too. That's part of the problem.
yeah. Well, yeah. And here's the crazy thing. First of all, I want to thank you for that because I know you actually watched this, and I do want to acknowledge what you said. And fundamentally, I agree with you. But that's what just perplexes the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Roman, we're pretty much redoing the bloodline because the Usos are back with him and everything.
Yeah.
Sans Sami Zayn, which that's a whole other thing, which we may get into later.
It's
I,
like
I
the
don't know.
main event Mafia got brought back in TNA. Like when that happened, it's
Yeah,
like that. Because it's like this faction that everyone is like, man, they had a cool run. Glad it's over though. And then they're just like, but who says it has to be over though?
dude, I just a very, very quick detour that's still fundamentally related to what we're talking about. I watched recently um the trial of Sami Zayn with the bloodline and everything.
Yeah.
And that was such a well done freaking segment. And the comments were like, this may be the best pro wrestling storyline ever. This is like transcendent, this and that. And it really was lightning in a bottle. Like, I'm not going to do
Mm-hmm.
revisionist history. I loved it. I loved pretty much like 95% of it. And that 5%, I couldn't even, if you put me on the spot, I couldn't even tell you what that 5% was. I just know that, like, I really love this story. I didn't want to see it retreaded. Like, say what you will about Jey Uso's, like, Yeet and that being done to fucking death and the world title reign being kind of middling. Like, it's still fundamentally a regression for him to go back to Roman, where Roman very clearly, and you and I have been harping about this for what I feel like it has been over a year. Maybe it's been less than that, but that's what it feels like. He hasn't learned anything. Roman has not fundamentally changed, and that's a shame because the Roman character at its peak was so fascinating, and I loved him, and I loved how he played a heel. I could still love how he plays a heel, but like, even as a heel, you should still grow and learn from your losses, and maybe as like sadistic and maybe as like messed up as it sounds, at the very least, learn how to manipulate better. You know what I mean? Like, if you're still gonna be the bad guy, and you had people leave you, and now you've got them back, maybe give them more carrots while still fundamentally viewing them as like pawns in your game or like extensions of yourself or whatever. I just feel like nobody's learned anything, and that's yet another indictment of storytelling because we took this whole journey. It seemed like Jay grew, but again, now he's back with him. Jimmy, and I'm going to repress the urge to joke because I know I always dunk on Jimmy. That's kind of a TWitWoW meme here. What is Jimmy doing? Yeah, it's like whatever. And Roman, you're right. He's an asshole. So that's the thing. If you're trying to make Jacob a heel, you know what might have helped that along the way? If Roman actually fucking learned something and we could empathize with him because we have so much history with Roman. We have so much history about all this. And it's like they're not interested. There's a fundamental disinterest, dare I say even an apathy to tap into any of that. And the
Well,
idea that
I think
yeah,
that the disinterest is in just earning the reaction.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they take for granted that people are going to react the way that they want them to react. And a lot of the time that is the case. But with a lot of instances, this being one of them where, Roman isn't enough of a beloved pure baby face that someone beating the shit out of him will get booed if they're cool enough. That we can get Jacob Fatu, who is one of those really cool heels, to be an actual heel. He just comes off like a tweener badass that wants to feed his family. Like that's the whole gimmick, right? Is that he's trying to feed his family. Like who's the real heel here? Shouldn't be a question that I'm asking. It should be obvious. It's the guy using the move that is supposed to be the last resort in their family that they shouldn't be using. But he still feels kind of face-ish because of the fact that they haven't really gone out of their way to earn Roman being an actual babyface yet.
I am gonna do way too much work here. But we have said many times that TwitWoW is a leftist wrestling podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So to look at this story through a leftist lens, you realize how fucking amazing this could be. Because even when Jacob was first brought into the bloodline, everybody was like terrified, like, you brought him? Like he's the black sheep of the family. And then you find out, well, he's formerly incarcerated and this and that. Like, you could do a class-based story where like this guy that was incarcerated This guy that may even be on the margins because if he's trying to feed his family, that tells me that Roman, all this rhetoric about him, like, oh, I provided for the family and this and that, you seem to provide for some more than others, right? And then you've got Roman, who I remember the Bloodline like promos. He didn't make a big stink about it, but the throwaway lines of like, get the jet ready, get the sushi ready or whatever. It's very clear, like, we live on a higher level, right? I eat filet mignon every day. You're lucky if you can afford Burger King, kind of thing. And you could stage that dichotomy so well because Jacob, who's been the black sheep of the family, who may not know the material benefits and privileges of being Samoan as part of a broader wrestling dynasty, who's had to go and make his own way. Like you could even say, like, when I got incarcerated, like you all were ashamed of me. You all like didn't even want to acknowledge like I was dead in the family, right? And having to fight my way back into the family to the point where I'm now the world fucking champ, or I want to be the world champion. So you want to talk about people just acknowledging you? It's not even about acknowledgement. I want people to see me. I want my own family to see me. I want visibility in the dynasty that I'm a part of. You could tell such an amazing, fucking beautiful story. But again, we're in late capitalism. Corporations are going to inshitify everything, and they're not going to
You know
want to
what though? I
tell.
think you might be onto something as far as why the WWE doesn't really like they can't really figure out why why they can't get Jacob booed. I think that you are onto something here though. I don't think that WWE intends for Jacob to be a tweener. I think that they want Jacob to be a baby or a heel. I think they want Roman to be the babyface and Jacob to be the heel here. I think that's the intention. I think that they're just failing because of how fucking tone deaf they are. I think that at the
Yeah,
end of the day, the WWE wants fans who are willing to root for the corporation, the big one, the rich guy trying to defend what he considers to be his against the little guy, quote unquote, trying to quote unquote take what's quote unquote his. I have to keep adding these air quotes because I'm trying to speak this from the perspective of the WWE and the rich and the corporations.
yeah.
Um, it just feels like, yeah, maybe that really is just you're just onto something there as far as like the real problem is just that they are so tone deaf to the moment that we are in as a country right now that they think that they can get away with having a dude who claims that he is just trying to feed his family be the heel against the dude who is out here with a full set of fucking fake teeth, which is like tens of thousands of dollars, talking about like getting the jet ready and getting the sushi ready, like you were talking about, and who is the world champion, who now is bringing back the goons that he had when he was a heel in the first place. Like it just seems so tone deaf, doesn't it?
It does, and this also, again, not to overreach or not to fly too close to the sun, but I think that's why it's so important to have like a heterogeneous writers room and really just a structure that isn't just old white guys, right? Like just as like a kind of a distant example, when you look at the Mandy Rose Otis storyline, that I forget the woman's name, but I know there was like a woman writer that kind of like helmed that, and it was so good, right? Because I think she was attuned to that kind of thing, and like it didn't feel like hackneyed or anything like that. Like if it was an old white guy, they'd probably do so many like romantic tropes or whatever, and I feel like the way she told it was very
If it
straightforward.
was an old white
Um,
guy, it wouldn't have been Otis. It would have been fucking Austin Theory.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, it was really well done. And like I wish that there were more, people of color or if we were a better society, maybe ex-cons themselves that like reintegrate into society, which should be the whole fucking point, and we're able to write like from the perspective of Jacob and say like, well, this guy, like he's fighting in a word, and I know it's kind of a cliched word, but in a way he is fighting for redemption. That's what I think made the Eddie Guerrero Brock Lesnar story work so well. You had Eddie with all these demons and saying like I love his promo to Brock before No Way Out, and I know people have been talking about it more over the years, but he says like that championship is my kids' college. That's the bikes I couldn't afford them when I was messed up, the Christmases I missed, everything. Like it's very similar for Jacob because at his core, like he does want to provide for his family. He wants to be the father figure that he feels like he failed to be when he was incarcerated. And I feel like that's such a beautiful, moving story to tell, but they can't tell it because they want Jacob to be the heel. And if you
Yeah.
tell that story and you tell it in earnest, he's very easily the fucking babyface.
Yep.
Easily. I don't know. I'm glad we had that
Don't say
conversation
you
though. I
don't
want to
know. You
thank
clearly do know. You just you're being very
yeah,
descriptive about how much you know.
yeah, yeah. I appreciate you for actually watching the segment, but it's amazing that like you watched it and you kind of gave me what I needed, and then we had this conversation. So I'm really happy we had that conversation. So thank you for having that with me.
Yeah.
Um, Let us go now to NXT. Uh, God, since we already kind of went into this last week, I'm not going to try and stay on this too much, bro. I'm still I'm feeling disconnected from Mason Rook. I saw this moonsault he did on everybody. Now, granted, I think at a different camera angle it looked better, but it gave like I don't know if it was Charlotte or Tiffany that did it, but you know that one spot where it's like you don't even hit the opponent. You hit like all the security, but you didn't even hit the opponent. It's like, why are you falling? Right? Like, what was the gust of wind so powerful it knocked you on your ass? But yeah, Mason Rook, he signed his NXT contract, and like somebody actually jumped Tony D, but I forget the name of this dude. So like I'm kind of in a conflicted space because on one hand, we had talked about what Tony D's title reign could be. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised that NXT is taking Tony D's title reign as a way, as like a vehicle to introduce new faces, new blood, right? Because it's like you guys already know the NXT roster. We've already had call ups. So there's, vacuums here and there.
I wonder
We're
if we're
going to
gonna
use
get a breakout tournament anytime soon.
I would love that. And honestly, at this rate, I almost wonder if, well, honestly, you could. I was going to say if the breakout tournament winner would get an NXT world title shot, but they could if they wanted to use their contract for that, because I do love that the contract is open. You could do North American or you could do men's NXT world. Um, yeah, I would love that. And honestly, like, I feel like they would give it to Mason Rook, but I mean, that would give him more exposure with crowds and everything else. And like, I'd be cool with that, I guess. It's just, yeah, I'm still feeling a disconnect. It just again feels like a fan living out the fantasy right now of being a wrestler. I have no familiarity with his indie work or anything like that. So there's that. Um, Naraku, aka Evil,
Evil,
beat
yeah.
Lindsay Dorado in his debut. First of all, big ups to
Oh
Lindsay.
my goodness! Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
even know he was still on the roster. Congrats to him.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that I saw this guy just at like Force One, which again was the New Jersey indie that I used to go to as a teenager. I used to see him on Force One shows, and now like he's on WWE programming and has been, whether Evolve, NXT. I think he's even done like Raw and SmackDown a few times as part of like the Lucha Bros or
Lucha
whatever.
Dragons, Lucha Dragons,
Yeah, Lucha
or no, Lucha
Dragons.
House Party.
Lucha House Party. That's what it was. That's what it was. Just really cool for him. So I just want to say that as an aside. But yeah, still won with the STO. He looked good. I mean, I've never been a big Evil fan. I don't think that's going to start now. But I mean, it was a win. And yeah, I think he's also gunning for Tony D and that NXT championship. Um, Here's where we get a bit interesting though. So actually, let me ask you: did you see of any NXT this week?
No,
Okay, so you'll be happy to know that Noam Dar is back in action,
I heard of that.
apparently.
Yeah, I did hear about that. That's cool.
And he faced Jackson Drake, who,
Nice.
as you all know,
I
I
might have to check
fucking
that
adore.
match out because I love both of those guys in the ring.
Definitely, definitely. But where it gets interesting, and maybe Foster could provide us both with more context. Dark State apparently confronted the Vanity Project, and they have a moment where they knock, I don't know if it was Jackson Drake himself or like another member, into the arms of Micah Lockwood, who you guys know from last week. I really like her
Big lady.
already.
Yeah.
Um, so Dark State might be reunified and they might be babyface. So again, if Foster could just give us maybe some context,
Your
I would
confusion
appreciate that.
popped the shit out of
Well, yeah, yeah, that kind of self pop me too, bud. But yeah.
me. Nice.
Uh, yeah, so I guess while we're waiting for further context from Foster, most immediately, just to keep the ball rolling, if Dark State is having a babyface arc, how do you feel about that, Bugs? I know you've been invested in these guys, particularly Saquon Sugars.
Yeah.
Um, like, how do you feel about that?
I refuse to allow myself to get invested in them until any proof is given that the NXT brass is actually willing to invest in them.
You're so good at protecting your emotions. I envy that. I get hurt way too often because of my own naivete. Um, so, yeah, let's see. Foster said Cutler and Osiris beat Hank and Tank, but the two said Dion and Saquon are challenging. Cutler and Osiris basically said Dion and Saquon need to get back on track. So there's still like this kind of infighting seemingly, but maybe they're just like, you know what, we can unify over bullying the shit out of the Vanity Project. Which, hey, I mean, a feud between these two factions, I'm down for. You know, I am a fan of both conceptually.
Who are the
I
NXT
think
Tag Team Champions right now?
the Vanity Project, Swipe Right specifically.
Oh, they're the
Um,
NXT Tag Champ. I thought they were just the Evolve Tag Champs still.
oh no, they're the NXT Tag Champs,
Wow,
Hundos.
good for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, Yeah. Um, so, a feud between them and let me see again who Foster said. Saquon, Dion and Saquon are challenging. Like the idea of Swipe Right against Dion and Saquon, that's fucking fire to me. Like that might actually be a match that like on a third party site or whatever, like after it's happened, I go and I watch and I'm like, yeah, because I love Swipe Right. I know everybody in the chat loves to like dunk on them, but I think his in-ring talents, they are so good at tag team wrestling, and it's been a minute since I've seen a Swipe Right match. Plus, look, guys, we all have that one gimmick that whether we should like it or not, and for the record, I don't think there's any problem in liking Swipe Right. But it just pops us for reasons we don't even understand. That is Swipe Right to me. I fucking love these people. They are like the best of like an 80s like look how hot I am, your girl wants me type of gimmick, but made contemporary. It's so good. Yeah,
My
and
favorite part
Dion and
about them is that they do have that like look how hot I am, your girlfriend wants me gimmick, but they're literally just like a bunch of like douchey looking frapro chuds.
dude, yes. Yes. God, you pop me there, and I pop myself just with giddiness that these people exist. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, I mean, I'm
So
for that. Wait, what was that?
I said so.
Oh God. Um, let's see here. What else? Oh yeah, Izzy laid out Lola and kind of held up the NXT Women's Championship. Great fucking visual, but Lola's retaining. I'm not. Izzy's really, really, really good, but it's Lola's
I'll
time right
say
now, and
she
it's going to be.
is.
Yeah, it's Lola's time right now, and unfortunately, it's going to be like that
Does it
for the
have to
foreseeable
be?
future. You know, I don't say this to hurt you, and I have to be clear because I think you can tell the difference when I'm turning up and when I'm not. Unfortunately, but it does.
But
It's been a
why?
long time coming.
What did
Well,
she
I mean,
do to
because
earn it being her time?
um, I mean, look, bro, I didn't do this to you, so I feel like it's kind of unfair that I'm in the position of defending shitty choices that I didn't make.
Oh fuck, you're right.
Yeah, yeah,
Someone find
logic
me
actually.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, my God, I actually logicked my way out of a problem. I should do this far more often. I won't, but I should.
You
All
really
right.
should. I will reward it every time, just so you know.
It's so true. You're so good about that. You're such a beautiful person, actually. Holy fuck. Um,
What was the
so,
actually thrown in for? Wow.
well, just because I feel like so many people,
Surprise
do.
yourself with your realization that I'm kind of cool sometimes.
Yeah, dude, you kind of remind me of one of the jokes on the last episode of Smiling Friends. Like, oh, that's great, Charlie, that you go and do that. Yeah, yeah, Pim. I do nice things. I donate to people. Like, what? Is that so shocking to you? It's like, god damn. But no, you're beautiful. That's a well
We
established
need to
fact.
watch Smiling Friends together. Like, I know you've seen it, but I want to watch it with you.
Oh, dude, I'd absolutely take that journey with you. 100%. Um, so SmackDown. Let's
You
talk
did it
about
now.
SmackDown.
You did the thing.
Wait, did what thing?
So.
Oh. Um, let's talk about SmackDown. Um, I'm kind of going out of order here, mainly because I want to, and who's gonna stop me, really?
Wow,
But
you went for the Joker there, didn't you?
yeah, I guess so. Um, it got really excited. Now, look, I'm a Gunther fan. I have no problem with him getting a WWE Undisputed Championship match. In fact, I want him to win the goddamn thing. I think he
But
looks
that's
freaking
less
great with
about
that
your
title.
love of him and more about your hatred of Chody.
I think it can be both. I
I'm
think it could be.
not
I mean, you're
disputing that
right.
it's both. I'm disputing the weight.
That's and that's fair. I will concede to that. Both because you're right and to keep the ball rolling. But Yeah, like I like him, no problem with that. I will say though, I got hyped seeing Royce Keys
Yes.
interrupt and be like, because here's the thing, Gunther has never faced like in WWE terms, he's really never faced anybody like Royce Keys. Cause
Well,
like
and you
I,
know what? To take it a step further than that, and to make it specifically about the segment at hand, he's never really had to deal with any pushback towards his like weird, like low key cowardly demeanor, because he is like the quintessential cowardly fighter, where he loves to get sneak attacks on people. Even to the degree that if they start fighting back, he will leave, wait for them to turn around, and then sneak attack them fucking again. And like his whole cowardly shtick where he avoids doing anything on anybody else's terms finally came back to bite him, even if it was just for a little bit of time on this show where he had to now fight for the title shot that he thought was just granted to him by being traded to SmackDown. I loved it.
he's the best bully character that I've ever seen that isn't explicitly a bully character.
You don't
And I
think he's a
think they're
bully?
I mean, with the sneak attacks and everything else, and like kind of just how he just feels like he's so much better than everybody. Like I remember the feud with Jay and like how he literally choked out his own brother in front of him while he was like helpless. Like Bully might even be putting it mildly. I think
Yeah.
Gunther, he's low key kind of a sadist, even I would say. But again, that's not explicitly his character. That's just the vibe that I get. So I don't know. Maybe it says more about me. We could do psychoanalysis and pro wrestling, but I do love that Royce Key kind of confronts him here. And now I didn't actually like watch the full segment, but like it is just kind of fascinating to just see Royce Keys be like, so about all this, fuck you. Because we're not doing this. I have something to say about this. And yeah, I'm gonna stop you from doing this. And then when Nick Aldis makes a match between these two, it's like, oh, Gunther is pissed about it because it's like like you said, I thought I had this title shot in the bag, and then I did see like clips from the match and MFTs kind of screw over Royce Keys, but I did love before that happened just how dominant Royce Keys looked. Like I will say again, as a Gunther fan, it was nice to see him genuinely a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to like? I'm supposed to be the bully. What is happening here? I'm dominant. And Royce Keys like, yeah, well, suck. Because he Irish whipped him in the barricade. You can tell he's like really giving it to him. Which, if in the scenario where Gunther wins the WWE Championship, I would love to see him and Royce Keys run it back. Even if Gunther would win again by like some kind of cheating means or whatever, like just to see that Gunther would actually internalize, like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to work for this. Like, it would just really be fascinating to me. So yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about that first because I love that they did this with Royce Keys. And they protected him too. Like that's the thing. Like having Solo interfere, and Gunther didn't even win with the sleeper. He didn't even want to chance it. He's like, no, I'm power bombing, and I'm hoping to get the 3 count, and that's it. I really enjoyed that. Now, after Gunther won the match, he's like talking in the camera, spouting threats. And then Cody hits a crossroads, and I'm like, oh my god. He really is the Hulk Hogan of our time in all the worst fucking way. Like, I would not be surprised if in their
Hulk
match at
Hogan
Clash,
drew houses, brother.
you know what? That's first of all pop. Because that brother at the end, I started talking before you finished, and then the brother cut me off and like pop. So, first of all, you're right. Second of all, I am like because he's already kicked out of a burning hammer at fucking 1. Okay. If at
You sounded
Clash
like
in
Quentin
Italy,
Tarantino there.
yeah. God, he's kind of an asshole, but you know what? I'll still take it because he does make good movies. Um, but yeah, like if Gunther hits a power bomb on Cody and Cody just like gets up and he's hulking up and he hits a crossroads, like I would not be surprised. I would be like, man, I fucking knew it. Uh, this is fucking awful. Um, and yeah, I hate the thought of it. I'm just again hoping that Gunther wins, but I'm not really holding my breath. So we'll have to see what
Yeah, I would
happens.
not
But yeah,
expect him to win.
you know what, man? That's fair. But our policy, whenever like you don't have any faith in something, but I really want something, if my dreams die, you owe me hug stickers. So just know that like That's a premium
This
you're
is
gonna
on
have to
that
pay eventually.
level? Gunther winning here is on that level that you're going to need
I
hug
really like
sticker
Gunther, and
consolation if it doesn't happen?
listen, man. I already need to be consoled every day that Kevin Owens is not in a wrestling ring.
That's
I
fair.
miss Kevin
See, but
Owens
that makes
so
sense
fucking
to
much.
me though. Like I can square that route.
Yeah, oh god, that was a math term. Ugh, but it's okay because you're still right. I guess it's not on that level. It's just like how long? How long are we gonna have to put up with this reign? Like, can he just stop
Dude, he
winning the world
just
title?
won it. He just won it like 3 weeks before Mania.
Yeah, that's factually true, but we're not taking into account how I feel about this because I feel like I have just been in one giant Cody Rhodes title reign. Because like, how much separation has there even been between title reigns? Because this is his third
A
championship.
year almost, not quite a full year.
I mean, maybe.
He lost the
And
title
again,
at Mania 41, and then he won it back like a month before Mania 42, only to retain it against Randall.
God, he really does just fucking suck because I can't tell the difference. Like, god damn. If it was somebody that I liked, like in an alternate universe where John Morrison is like a top guy and I'm just all in because he just parkour is just so fucking sexy, I'd be like, oh my god, finally! It's been almost a year, finally! Everybody rejoices. And Cody does it, and that time did elapse, and I'm like, already? Shit. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
Think
look,
about
I'm
who he
condemned
beat
to
for the
suffer.
title too.
But say that again.
I said, think about who he beat for the title too, who we could have
Yeah,
had as
he
our
beat
world
fucking
champion.
Drusev.
Yeah,
That
and where the
fucking
fuck has he been?
yeah, probably taking a well-deserved break from this bullshit. Fuck. God, I love when you're right because you use your brain for good causes, but also at times like I hate it because it's like, why do you have to be right about stuff like this? Why do
Yeah,
you have to be right about stuff
I
that hurts
agree
me? But
with
then
you.
again,
Honestly, I hate it too sometimes.
you know what? You've said that to me, how I've been right about stuff that's terrible. And you're like, John, I don't want to think about this right now. I mean, you don't say fuck me, but it's like, why are we talking about this? Like, why do you have to be right about this right now? Like, fuck.
Be right
We've
about
cursed.
things that don't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I am trying, okay? But this product, man, they're not really giving us much breathing room, apparently.
Yeah.
Um, So Trick was in his hometown. He beat The Miz. I feel like everybody can beat The Miz now. It's a good little gateway wrestler to kind of get over, get a little pop, get some credibility. Of course, Trick has more than that. He's the freaking United States champion, but I think he was just a perfect guy, perfect like heel foil for a hometown matchup. So really cool for Trick. Just love that he's babyface already. Like I thought there'd be more of an arc there, but like they really just did do the double turn with him and Sammy, and they're just kind of running with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Your
Uh,
face is pretty cool.
your face is pretty fucking cool. God, it's awesome. Uh, Paige and Brie Bella defeat Julia and Kiana James. I actually did see a backstage video where it seemed like there was tension between Julia and Kiana, and I'm really hoping that that means Julia goes babyface. Now, let me be clear. I feel like when the writing's actually good in a company and the booking's actually strong in a company, Julia is always better to me as a heel. But I think she can work as a babyface. I do. I'd be curious to see that. And I do still like Kiana James. I feel like I'm kind of in a reset position with her because I really liked her when
Yeah.
she was with Izzy Dame. And now I feel like
You
we're back at
almost
square one a little
need
bit.
Kiana to be the heel in this feud, though, because of the language barrier. Because Kiana can talk really well. She can cut
Yes.
promos, and she can do the majority of the workload on the mic in this. And the person who does that needs to be the one talking the most shit, and most of the time that's the heel.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree completely. Um yeah, and then everything else was just kind of pointless. I mean, Damian Priest beat Tamatonga, Jade Cargill, Misha and B-Fab. They apparently like disposed of Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I mean,
Disposed of, nice.
yeah, I mean, kudos to Charlotte, I
Fuck
guess.
out
You're
of
finally really
here.
learning. Wait, what was that last part?
I was impersonating them. I said fuck out of here
Yeah.
because they disposed of them.
Yeah, exactly. Good for Charlotte, I guess, though. If you're a fan of hers, you're finally realizing for an extended period what it's like to actually be over. You're welcome. Welcome to pro wrestling, I guess, finally, after so many years. And yeah, Carmelo Hayes beat Ricky Saints. I know Bestie kind of asked earlier, how does it feel that Ricky Saints has lost every match he's been on since he's been on SmackDown? And I don't know. I don't think that's an accident. I would like to think it's part of a greater story, but we have to see what the AI says about it. Because maybe the AI is just like, I hate Ricky Saints. I hate that face thing he does. So he's gonna lose
I
every match.
imagine Triple H on ChatGPT being like, "All right, we've got this new guy that I want to bring up from NXT, but he's 6 feet tall and really skinny. How do I book him?"
Yeah. ChatGPT more or less is like, that's the neat thing. You don't. But if you have to, you have him lose everything.
No, that's
everything?
what you see. Clearly,
Yeah.
you don't use ChatGPT because if that actually happened, ChatGPT would be like, "Oh wow, this guy sounds like a really talented player, but you said he was skinny. Maybe we can work that into a storyline. You're so
Yeah.
smart."
Oh dear God. Um.
ChatGPT is endlessly, incessantly complimentary and optimistic.
Yes. Yes. Oh God.
Like that
I'm
episode of
so.
South Park fucking nails the tone 100%.
Yes, dude, I am so sorry too. Like, I know this says so much more about me than even the product in your imaginary scenario, but like, you being like, can we use his skinniness as like a storyline? I'm thinking there's like this whole investigation or whatever, like, is Ricky Saints on Ozempic or some shit? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm honestly surprised that WWE isn't already there with the quality of these stories. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. And that was essentially SmackDown. And the only other wrestling thing, I have been kind of keeping tabs a little bit on the MJF Darby Allin story because it's hair versus title. But really nothing to report there. I hate Darby Allin as world champion. And they're trying to make a big stink. Like, he's had 5 title defenses already. 5. And like, yeah, if you want to make him like a scrappy babyface, I guess that's a way to do it. I'm not gonna like rake it over hot coals or anything. But it's like, look at him.
Here's
Hey,
what I'll
look at
rake
like
over hot coals. He had a fucking match with Pac in a golf course.
oh, oh. Remember? Actually, no. I shouldn't say that. Well, what I was going to say, just to put it out there, was like, remember when Pac really seemed like he was going to be like a big WWE guy, where John Cena even raised his hand after like a
Yeah.
match, and yeah, and
Adrian
like,
Neville,
yeah,
Red
Adrian
Arrow.
Neville,
I remember.
yeah. I'm not saying that timeline would have been better. I mean, that's his choice. I'm curious how he feels about his own career, but I think about it a lot. I do. I mean, the guy was sculpted like a freaking Greek god, and could really work. I don't really know. I don't think the mic skills were really all that there, but I don't even really know if they needed to be to a point. And yeah, now you're wrestling for world titles at a golf course. That's cool, cool. So that was essentially pro wrestling. Unless there's anything else you want to bring to the table, is there anything that you would like to talk about that I didn't bring up here? Me and my face.
I might need a moment to recover from your tone right now, honestly. You're doing really good.
Nice.
um, God, I don't pay enough attention to this shit to keep going on my own, man. We're good. Let's just move on.
I think wrestling just needs to insert my face more into it so you have something worthwhile to pay attention to.
I
That's
think
just
a
my own
lot of
opinion.
things would be improved by the insertion of your face into them.
What you said, insertion pop me. I'm ready to just hijack this whole fucking show and for us to be weird with each other, because that's popping me more than the broadhead right now. And unfortunately, it pops me a hell of a lot fucking more than our next section, politics, which might actually be a bit light this week, because I don't know if it was my own mental health being like, John, stop, please. But I really haven't been like that plugged in.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
God, I'm proud of you always. There is one thing we should talk about, guys.
Is this that morning after pill or whatever the hell it is that got banned or whatever?
That is an excellent point, bro, and we should absolutely talk about that. I was actually going to talk about the trans relocation, the 401,000 trans people
that's
that have
not
relocated.
really that's not really like a new news story so much as it's just like a new report that came out reporting something that's been going on for like a year and a half now.
That is fair. I still want to bring it up though, only because like people are really starting. I mean, because I did a write up on this.
I
If
was
you guys
dude,
are
I
part
was
of the
just gonna
Discord.
say what we should really be talking about here is your new Substack that everyone should go subscribe to.
I appreciate that, but I wrote about transphobia and stuff like that, especially from the transhumanists in Silicon Valley and these tech
Transmigration.
bros. Exactly, yeah, exactly. And so I don't want to get like all into that. I don't want this to be a self-promoting thing, but like a big thing in that piece was that yes, 401,000 people, it has been reported, trans people specifically have relocated from their home states to other areas, I guess, with less severe anti-trans legislation since the 2024 presidential election. So Ashton's right. Like, this is just data really that's coming to light. So it's not really like news when it's been like an unfolding phenomenon. But I only want to bring it up because the Lemkin Institute, which I don't really know exactly what they do, admittedly, but they've come out, and other people too, like trans people and other people that have kind of studied this, including somebody. I'll tell you, you were talking about my Substack. Somebody shared. My friend Brian shared my Substack, and somebody commented that actually does genocide studies, where they said, I feel like we've taken another step towards trans genocide in the U.S. I think they said this month. I'm trying to find the actual comment. Okay, so here we go. I'm closer here. Just give me a second, guys, because she shared multiple news stories. So there was one from Baptist News saying that the Trump administration calls transgender people a national security threat. WhiteHouse.gov. I think this was like a counterterrorism strategy, and we already know in their counterterrorism like documentation and everything else, they are talking about like gender radicalism, gender extremism as like a point of like, we need counterterrorism measures. There's a publication called The Advocate talking about Seattle's trans refugee crisis. And the person I want to give a shout out, I'm just going to say their first name, Christina, who I really appreciated sharing all this, said that the rhetoric has changed legislatively, and I think she's absolutely correct. It has. The way that trans people are being talked about now, which by the way, it's slowly shifting to autism, because there was leaked. I forget who did this interview, but the right is starting to refer to autism as a social contagion. This is how eugenics and like cleansing and like all that fucking warped fucking horrific shit happens, right? It starts with shit like this. And so yeah, we're definitely seeing an escalation in trans communities in the US with how they're talked about legislatively, with the machinery of government, how it's like operating against them and oriented towards them very hostily and antagonistically. And so I just want to talk about that first. I mean, yes, because it is on my mind because of the Substack, but it's not even really like about that. If you have trans people in your life, please check on them. Seriously talk to them about this. They may be harboring fears that you don't know. Um, Give when you can, support when you can, advocate when you can. I know means are very tight, especially with gas. So freaking expensive. My sister was telling me that drives she had to make, she like had to pay $50, I think, for gas today, which compared to other trucks and stuff like that is okay, I guess, but still like fucking insane because the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. So yeah, I know means are tight for everybody, but even just advocating, even just making this stuff visible, I think is worth something. It's really scary for them right now, as it's been scary for every like non-white, non-cis, hetero person on the fucking planet, non-disabled person. For the rest of us, it's like, oh well,
Basically, if you don't directly resemble the people in power, things are scary right now.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, So yeah, I did just want to mention that. But Ashton, as per usual, is 1,000% correct. There was actually a big thing that happened today, or not today, but this week. SCOTUS, Supreme Court, did release their decision on. Oh God, I'm gonna botch pronunciation.
Let me try.
Mifepristone.
I'm the
Sure,
pronouncer of the group.
you can do it.
Let me make an attempt to pronounce this. Let me see if I can find the exact article. Um, that's not it. That's not it. Mifepristone.
Yes. Um. So this is huge because now they've pretty much like limited access, and they've said that let me see here, after briefly letting a national ban take effect, actually, huh you know what, folks, this might be an editorial correction I have to make here, because 19thnews.org, I guess I read it too fast, or I made an assumption, or maybe I don't know what got wrong here. It says Supreme Court rules abortion pills can continue to be mailed. Oh, so this might actually be fucking good news. Here, my nervous system was like, oh, we're having to talk about this whole thing about further restrictions of reproductive rights, which we should still be on guard about, for the record. But yeah, they said mailed prescriptions have allowed people living in states with bans to continue getting abortions, contributing to an increase in abortion since the fall of Roe. And then 19 News reports, after briefly letting a national ban take effect, so there was a ban in effect, the Supreme Court blocked a lower court's ruling that would have prevented mailing a key abortion drug. The decision issued Thursday allows telehealth dispensation of mifepristone. God, say it again, please.
Okay, now I have to go back and find it again because I can't say it by memory.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say it slow. Mifepristone.
Mifepristone. There, I did it. Yeah, mifepristone. There we go. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You've committed it to
Mifepristone.
memory. I believe in you.
Yes, and I believe in your face always, forever, with everything. One of two drugs used in most abortions to continue while the state of Louisiana challenged its legality. So I was getting ready to be all doom and gloom. Actually, I am shocked. I am shocked that they actually lifted this ban because you know what? Like, I was even thinking to myself before this decision was handed down, one of the wild cards on the bench for some cases has actually been like Amy Coney Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, sure as shit, that's not going to fucking happen here because people have joked like she was programmed to kill Roe v. Wade, right? Like I think she was even picked from the Heritage Foundation and shit. So like, which conservative or conservatives, it could be plural, I don't know. I'm wondering which ones joined the liberal justices because I'm pretty
Kavanaugh,
sure.
probably.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, not to get dark about it, but we know the guy's history, right? We all remember Christine Blasey Ford and stuff like that. He's probably thinking, well, you know, I benefited from that being on the market, so whatever, which is disgusting to think about, but maybe it was Kavanaugh. You might be onto something there. It would be for the most horrible reasons that I fucking conjured up. But yeah, possibly, because no way in hell was it Barrett. No way in hell. And obviously, the other ones, they just want to just dismantle everything. So, yeah, very.
I love how you said the other ones just want to dismantle everything. I don't know who all on the SCOTUS has that mindset, but the only man that I know for a damn fact does is Clarence Thomas. That motherfucker wants to ruin everything. He's coming for your rights, and he is the king of climbing up the ladder and then pulling it up behind himself.
Dude, yeah, you pretty much said like in a different way, like what I heard recently from somebody where it's like Clarence Thomas walked through the door that so many black people fought and even sacrificed their lives to open only to shut it behind him. And I'm like, man, that fucking hurts. When you put it like that, that fucking hurts. And yeah, that's why you're absolutely right with the ladder analogy as well. Goddamn, but you know, one guy that I don't think gets enough scrutiny is Gorsuch because that dude terrifies me ever since I've heard one person describe him as a judicial nihilist, and I'm like, what the actual fuck is that? And like, why is somebody of that kind of temperament allowed on the court? But yeah, okay, so it's still legal to mail. I really thought that they were gonna be like, fuck you, you get nothing, and you're gonna learn to like it. Speaking of course, we need to talk about this because this made me cackle. So, the New York Times. The New York Times, because it's corporate media and because we live in the US, which is absolutely like a late capitalist, imperialist country, has roots in colonialism. You guys have heard us say it 1,000 times, right? You don't need 1,001. But the New York Times has carried water for a lot of like far right actions, imperialist actions, stuff like that. I mean, as all corporate media does. But the genocide in Gaza and in Palestine has gotten so fucking, and it's already been horrific, but it's gotten so hard to ignore at this late date, especially now that Israel is doing the same thing in Lebanon and trying to make Iran a failed state, that even the New York Times had an article come out where they blew the whistle about the raping of Palestinian prisoners by Israeli soldiers. I think even one Palestinian prisoner was raped by a dog. Like, that's how graphic this fucking shit is, right? And I don't mean to, like, stain all of your minds or anything like that, but we need to name it, right? Like, this is the shit that Israel's doing. This is the shit that settler colonialism does. This is the violence against the colonized. So when even the New York Times is like, oh, man, I don't know, man. There's only so much editorial massaging we could do about this. Like, because I feel like normally, if maybe they had more cover, they could have been like, Palestinian injured after aggressively playing with dog or something, which sounds so fucked up, but again, that's the editorial massaging they do, right? It's not a murder, it's a strike. It's not this, it's that. You get what I mean? But like, you can't anymore. It's too visible. Everybody fucking knows. So they run this piece, this expose, and Reuters has reported that Israel is going to sue the New York Times over this article, and Netanyahu himself said this, like that they're going to sue the New York Times. Homie, you are so fucking cooked, dude. Sue them with like what? Like you're fighting, maybe an exaggeration, maybe not, but I feel like you're fighting 5 fucking wars at once because you're fucking with Lebanon. So that's like kind of a war because I think the Lebanese are kind of resisting. You're doing a genocide in Gaza. You're fighting Iran and getting your asses kicked because the U.S. wants out, but you can't let them go out because they back you up. If the U.S. leaves, you're just fucking cooked. Period. Because you can't stand on your own legs yet. You're not a superpower yet to be able to do that. Although that is the end goal for Israel. Like you're collapsing. There have been reports. I did like a brief write up on this that I wanted to get published somewhere. They didn't take it, so I might publish it independently. Israel has such a steep mental health crisis right now. Like everybody is either addicted or depressed. You have soldiers, which I mean, let me be crystal fucking clear about this, and I would say this about any soldier fighting an imperialist war. They should suffer. Like these IDF soldiers come out. Oh, I felt like a monster. I have PTSD. Good. Like, because if you're really treating a child as a fucking enemy combatant, I don't know, my guy, you might just be a horrendous piece of shit. So, good. But you have IDF soldiers being like, oh, I felt like a Nazi. I felt like a monster. Like, all that dehumanizing propaganda against Palestinians, like, I saw it for what it was. And some still serve, even though they admit that. It's like, I feel like a monster, but it's like, well, no, no but after that. But yeah, I mean, your whole thing is collapsing. Hell, even one of the chief IDF members is like the military might collapse because they've been fighting for, at the time of that article, 900 days straight. Jesus fucking Christ. And now you're going to be like, well, I know we're pretty much on fire and we're doing everything, but the New York Times, man, that article about the rape of Palestinian detainees, like that's just not going to fly. Do you not understand? Everybody fucking hates you. That article didn't even need to exist. As far as I'm concerned, that article was the cherry on top of the shit sundae, right? Because they were already so underwater, not only with the American public, but globally. Yep. And you're really digging your heels out. It's just, we live in insane times. I know it's not like the biggest story, and I know I'm only harping on this because every time I talk about Israel, my blood just boils. But like, man, if you wanted a snapshot of what a clown world we fucking live in, thank you, Reuters, for reporting on that. Because the idea that Netanyahu even would later say in an interview, well, a lot of anti-Israel sentiment is because of social media. So again, like gesturing, like we need to control more social media, even though they like fucking, when TikTok got US owned, any account that was talking about Palestine buried, pretty much shadow banned, more or less, to the point where people had to go to like an alternative, I think actually founded by a Palestinian, and everything else. It's like, no, my dude, look, social media has a lot of fucking problems, but one of the best things it has ever done is finally shift the Israel-Palestine discourse, especially for people like me who used to be like, oh, it's complicated or it's religious, and as an atheist, I really have no state. No, they really showed you the truth and the barbarity of it, and you can't fucking stand it. Like, again, you never even needed this article. Twitter fucking killed Israel's credibility more than anything else did.
Hey, so, bro.
Yeah, Israel's... What's up?
We should be able to stay live through this, but my Chrome is about to crash. I need to force it to stop and restart it, which means that our call is going to die for a few seconds. I will get it back up and running as soon as I possibly can. It's probably going to be like 5 to 10 seconds. I just want to let you know, and I want to let everyone else know. I don't know why my Chrome just crashed, but I'm going to have to take care of this. So give me 5 to 10 seconds. I'm going to do it right now. All right. So everyone should still be able to hear me without a problem. I just need to reopen Chrome now. I'm reopening it. There might be a lot of noises coming because I do have some YouTube videos open, unfortunately. Let me just get back into this call with John. Here we go. Get back in here. Hello. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Hello. All right, we're back.
Yes.
Just wanted to, I didn't want to get too deep into anything. So yeah, that was pretty much Israel set to sue the New York Times. They're fucking tilting their fucking faces off. We talked about the abortion bill. The Atlantic did an interesting write-up about Stephen Miller, but we don't really need to get too into that because I do think he's going to find his way back into power, but it seems like, his influence is kind of waning, but not really, because the piece even reports that Trump still likes Stephen a lot. I would like all of them to just, walk off the same cliff, but I know that's not going to happen anytime soon. Any other big stories? Oh, well, we definitely need to talk about this. Because this goes back to my just hatred of AI data centers and Kevin O'Leary and everything else who was funding that big one in Utah. This is now in, I think, Nevada. where nearly 50,000 Lake Tahoe residents have to find a new power source after their energy source looks to redirect lines to data center. My sister couldn't believe it when I told her the story. She's like, how is that even possible that they could just do that? But just to get in a little bit, this again comes from Fortune. Lake Tahoe doesn't know where its power will come from after next ski season, and it's a major problem for the 49,000 residents who call the region home. Let me go down a little bit here.
Okay, that sound was adorable.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. You're adorable. And yes, essentially, they're saying that Northern, or excuse me, Envy Energy, I think is the name of the utility company, told Liberty Utilities, the small California company that services the region, that it will stop providing power after May 2027. The reason Envy Energy needs the capacity for data centers, as in the energy supplier for the Lake Tahoe region, is telling the utility company that it is less than a year to find another power source. This is insane. Okay? Like, again, we are a leftist podcast, so I'm never going to apologize.
This is what happens though when you have a federal government that is not willing to do shit to check these things, to keep shit like this in check. Like, I know that we do not like the corporate Democratic politicians that have been presidents in our lifetime, right? But I guarantee you, any single one of them, and honestly, we don't even have to choose just the ones who won. Any Democrat who's run for president in our lifetime would never allow this shit to happen. Never.
Yeah. And I do, you know what? Because I am trying to be like more judicious and more level-headed. You are absolutely correct about that. I also think this is a problem when you don't have people like Lena Khan in positions of power, because this is monopolistic shit, right? Like these tech companies and the AI data centers, this is what happens when power is concentrated. And I'm sorry, kind of a side note, like I still hate, because so many of them are still in government, even if we want to believe that we're past it, I still hate like the Sorkin era kind of liberal that's like, oh, well, if we just vote hard enough and if we just present the logic of our policies, these people do not give a fuck about that. You could have an actual rhetorical argument with these people and you could be better on every single point, because let's be honest, it wouldn't be that fucking hard. These people are ghouls, right? And they're going to be like, well, you know, I'll give a real think about that. Oh, wait, I have the fucking money, the senators, and everything in my pocket, aka actual power. Actual fucking power. And you see how they're using it. 50,000 people are going to have to find another power source. And that's only the beginning. When you look at the ecological damage, everything that these AI data centers are going to do, and nobody asked for this. And I'm loving what I'm seeing more and more, because when you look at it from Silicon Valley and like the acolytes of AI, right? They're like, oh, it's inevitable. Get on board. It doesn't have to be inevitable. Everything is a fucking choice. And again, I'm not against all AI. There's AI in healthcare. Again, there's AI in healthcare that's come out that apparently can detect breast cancer 5 years earlier. That's fucking amazing. Yes to more of that. But like, it's not even necessarily about the tech in and of itself. It's the idea that we do not live in a democratized like economy, or really just a democratized society generally, and that the power is so fucking lopsided because technology is not politically neutral. And I think that's something else we really need to like wrap our head around. Technology, like anything else, has inscribed in it like political values or like political uses. And technology, when it's made, dispensed, etc., by oligarchy, is going to reflect and serve oligarchic interests or far-right interests or whatever. A democratized economy, I think, would mean more democratized technology, which I would very much be in favor of. Like, I think with the Utah one that Kevin O'Leary funded, there was even like a town hall type thing. The people overwhelmingly said, do not do this. And the guy kind of leaning was like, well, you know, Kevin O'Leary has the money, so we're doing it. It's like democracy is just a hollowed out fucking word. And these poor people now in Nevada, again.
Well, it's because it's a representative democracy. And it's because when the representatives that are supposed to represent the people are struggling financially just as much as those people are, and then a billionaire comes along and offers to set them for life if they just do what they want, then we're fucked.
Exactly. But capitalism's the best we can do, again, apparently. It's one in the marketplace of ideas, although don't scrutinize too hard or you might see who's running the market and who owns all the goods and everything fucking else. So yeah, that is a major, major story to me that I really wanted to address with you guys. The idea that, again, because I think that is a harbinger of things to come. Everything feels like just so precarious, really is the word I keep coming back to with everything. I mean, with gas prices, really with just oil in the country, with the Strait of Hormuz being closed, and now these AI data centers. It's like, I just really do not like where things are going. And I'll tell you, Democrats have a lot of problems. But if you really wanted to like win and win big, you'd embrace the populist messaging that is kicking Republicans and even other like establishment Dems asses right now. And that is one thing. I think the people are really hungry for that. Part of me as a leftist is a bit weary because it's like, is this just desire capture? Because the people are so hungry as an entity like the masses that you're just going to funnel it back into electoral politics. But like, if these people, and we already see Zoran already has delivered so big for New York City, you get more people like Zoran in bigger positions of power, even just locally, that is a domino effect because we need to correct course here.
Yeah.
I mean, this shit is fucking insane. It's fucking insane. It's not sustainable. In fact, speaking of, is this even still within the parameters? It is. It is. Let's talk about oil actually still domestically because the Guardian reported on this back on actually they're saying May 6th. I posted it May 12th, but you know what? I still think it's worth talking about, so I am going to talk about this. California got their last oil tanker from the Middle East. California has a bigger GDP than most countries. It's a huge part of the U.S. economically. What do you think is going to happen to California when they run out of oil? When no more tankers are coming through because the Strait of Hormuz is fucking closed. Like, I'm telling you guys, this administration, this regime, as I've taken to call them, and many others, it's fundamentally incompetent. It doesn't care. It still has enough cult followers where it's like, I think I don't know, probably bots, but I've seen bots even say like, "Oh, I don't care about paying $6 a gallon for gas if it's hurting the libs." And there might be people that genuinely have that belief. I don't know. But yeah, like apparently already, California gas is already more than $6 a gallon. That's insane. And now the last oil tanker, which I think is only going to last them 4 weeks. So you figure this was published on May 6th. It is now May 17th. So 11 days have passed. So what? You've got a little over 2 weeks left of oil. And then, like, what happens then? I don't know if they tap into emergency reserves. I'm guessing that would be the next step. But point being, guys, like, if you have to tap into emergency reserves for a crisis that never even had to fucking happen, that's not good, right? So, yeah, that's also really, really bad, again, because we're so dependent on California as a country economically, no matter how we want to paint it. And God knows I don't like Gavin Newsom or anything like that. But again, bigger GDP than most countries, and they're feeling the squeeze of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. It's wild, wild times out here. And I guess finally, the only other thing I would want to talk about this week as far as politics, the number of fucking editorials and pieces like this that I have seen defending the rich. One from USA Today. I don't resent Bezos. I'm rooting for billionaires like him. What was another one that I posted? I think early. Oh yeah, the Wall Street Journal. Billionaires rock. Again, I think praising Bezos. There was one I shared from you, and I know you got a good laugh out of this. Again, Washington Post, which Jeff Bezos owns, by the way.
Yes.
Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. That's very important to note. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a low opinion of human potential, as if being a billionaire is the highest expression of human potential, which, like, I know you could attack this article from many angles, and of course, me being the philosophy nerd, like, I choose that kind of weird one, but, like, I don't know. I feel like a true expression of human potential is creating a beautiful work of art, or, you know, doing something amazing athletically, or even, and I assure you, I believe this is true, being a good fucking person, right? But for these people, no. The true apex of human potential is hoarding fucking money and watching everybody else starve and go without resources. Yeah, you're doing great. Doing great. The picture of mental fucking fitness. God damn it. So I'm trying to think, because there was a lot of domestic stuff this week, but again, also felt kind of lighter because it's like, nothing, nothing that we're already not fucking used to. Let's see. What did Super Blue post here? Oh yeah, I guess in international stuff, Israel claimed that they killed the Hamas's military wing leader. But it doesn't mean the genocide is going to stop because see, they put that out to still frame it like it's a military conflict. It's not. It's a fucking genocide, and it's not going to stop. Because God knows the next baby they kill, they'll be like, wait, you don't understand. We got information from Mossad that they were next in line to be the Hamas leader. Like that's just how fucking insane Zionists are. Um, the Iran war, anything new there? I already talked about that. That's well, I talked about it with you, but yeah, there was an opinion columnist, Thomas Friedman, that was like, NATO, I get that you're angry at Trump for all the objectively horrendous things that he's done, but get over it because we can't let Iran do what they want to do, even though they've always like had control of the Strait of Hormuz, and this is an existential threat for them, and they're defending themselves. We're America, damn it. We've got to. It's like, dude, go fuck yourself. Like I'm so over it. So I think that's essentially it. I think that's essentially politics, unless I'm missing something big. I mean, I know Bestie has talked about again rapes and like ice camps and this and that it's not that it's not newsworthy, but like I am just like so numb because like yeah, ICE agents are the fucking Gestapo, they're horrible, we've known about that, we should still talk about it, she's right. But yeah, I mean it's horrendous, it's fucking horrendous. Every camp, every data center, everything should be torn the fuck down, but I mean obviously that's not going to happen like that way. We need to do things legislatively, and the Democrats that actually do sincerely seem to want to abolish ICE are such a minority. Like I don't know. I don't know. It like that's really one thing that I want to just say. I sympathize with all of you guys, and I know Ashton has felt it too, and I certainly feel it. I hate the helplessness that we're all forced to feel because we all know that this shit is objectively wrong, and we're all, I would say, at worst, decent people. Like you can't do worse than the billionaires. At worst, we're all decent people, and at best, I'd say we're all pretty fucking amazing people. And it oscillates with the day, right? Some days you're better than others, of course, like anybody else. But like your worst day could coincide with the billionaire's best day, and I promise you, your moral compass is still more finely calibrated because the idea of a billionaire's best day is, oh my god, I finally learned how to privatize air. Like it's insane, and we're all forced to watch it, and it's really fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
So I sympathize with you guys. I know it's fucking hard for me too. I don't even really know what we do, but I really think again, it's just showing compassion where you can. And for some it's gonna look differently than others, but do not betray your values for these people. Do not resign yourself and say, well, who I am was like a waste or it's like whatever. No, I promise you, it means more than you think. You're all fucking beautiful. I'm rooting for all of you out here. But yeah, that's essentially politics. Fuck these people. Fuck billionaires. May they all have the day they deserve. Um, but now we get to a section I've really been excited about today just because you and I watched Hoppers last night with your mom. Dude, I have been thinking about that movie all day today.
Nice.
To the point where I actually watched Double Toasted's review of it, and just to cut to the chase, they both gave it a high full price.
Nice.
They both loved it. I think they both loved like I loved, and I'm sure you and your mom loved.
When you say
just
both,
how
is this both Martin and Corey?
Yes, Martin and Corey, because they didn't have a third guy. It was one of my favorite reviews that they did because it felt super chill, and it's just nice when you hear people actually enjoy shit rather than like nitpick it or whatever. Just how zany it got, because like you think the movie's gonna be one way, and then it just goes in a completely different direction. Guys, if you haven't seen Pixar's, I think this is Pixar's latest film, right? Hoppers. Go see it. It is so much fun. I watched it with Ashton and his mom last night. It was his idea to watch it, so kudos to Ashton. And he knows I'm an animation guy. Like I love so many different types of animation.
Oh my god, dude! We forgot to talk about something in politics that I thought was a big fucking deal this week.
Oh, dude, take the lead, please.
Zohran Mamdani balanced the budget already in New York City.
That's right. I had kind of mentioned as an aside, like he's doing such a great job, but I didn't really say anything specific. It was just more of a general comment. Yes.
He entered office with 12, I think, was it million or billion dollars in debt? I think it was billion.
Yeah.
And it's already, he's paid off all the debt. It's completely reset. And he did it in a way, like when you think of like, let's balance the budget, 9 times out of 10, people who are concerned with the budget in terms of like the US federal budget are the type of people that want to cut Medicaid, cut Medicare, cut food stamps, cut vet benefits, like cut everything because they care more about balancing the budget. Zoran did it in such a way that they were able to actually help people and still balance the budget. Like they filled potholes. They made sure that people who are shoveling snow got paid $30 an hour. Like they like are like fining landlords for not being, suitable landlords and not actually maintaining their properties and actually making them livable. It's like he's actually doing shit to help people, and they balance the budget, and he's only been in office for like 5 months. This dude's insane. I love Zoran
Dude, I was
Bogdan.
gonna say it hasn't even been a fucking year. It hasn't even been 6 months apparently, because you just
Hmm.
said 5 months. Like, that's the
Dude, he
thing.
got
That's
elected
what
in
goes.
November. He only got elected 6 months ago.
That's the thing. Like, the worst time of my life was when I was in community college studying business administration. And I know so many of these people, and maybe I'm about to be too big for my britches here, wouldn't be the first time, but I really do need to just go off on these people. These people that, like, fancy themselves as so economically literate, right? And that's why they're fiscally conservative. Well, I understand the market and I understand economics. It just seems like common sense. Like, if you invest in people, they're going to put the investment you put into them back into the society they fucking live in, and it's just going to be better. And like, wealth inequality is so out of control that, yeah, I promise you could balance a budget with how bad everything actually is if you know where to look and you genuinely fucking care about where to look and what to do about it, that you don't have to punch down on just poor people or just people that are like economically vulnerable that need the kind of benefits that you were talking about. Because austerity is always the answer, right? Like you said, oh, we got to cut pensions or Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security. It's like, no, the fuck you don't. No, the fuck you don't. You can actually go to where the problem is, do the like that estate tax he did for properties that these billionaires don't even fucking live in was already a game changer. I should have known that he was going to balance the budget the moment that he did stuff like that. Like, it's so, and people have been saying it. The way he governs, if people really like think leftists like me take it too far, it's really fucking simple. Just do fucking social democracy. Just do fucking putting wealth back into the society you're fucking governing and back into the people that make it what it is, right? That make up society. Invest in teachers, invest in people, tax the rich to the point where they're not even fucking feeling it. I promise you, they have not been inconvenienced in any fucking way. And even if they were, good, honestly. Like, my patience is just so thin. So I am glad you brought that up, because it just shows that all this talk and this hand wringing and waving about the complexities of government and fiscal responsibility, it's all horseshit. It's really not that fucking hard. Not to say that it doesn't take acumen or aptitude to do it, but like, again, if you know where to look, it's really not that fucking difficult. So, and really, again, if you care to look in the right
Yeah.
places, because that's really what it comes down to. I think everybody knows where to look. It's not a question of knowledge; it's a question of morality. So, thank you for
Right.
bringing that up.
There's
Yeah,
also another thing I wanted to talk about because that was more of like just a localized thing. Like that's the New York City budget. That's an important city, obviously, but it's still just one city. Let's move on to a state that affects the whole country, Nebraska. I
yeah,
don't know if you read this. I think you might have heart reacted to it, so I'm assuming you did. Uh, so there, Nebraska is one of those states in this country that is never going to be won by a Democrat, at least not in the near future. However, there is an independent running for Senate in Nebraska named Dan Osborne, and he is a pro-worker, pro-union type independent, and he is currently actually pulling in the lead of that race. He basically, the way that it worked out was the race, the Democratic primary was between a corporate APAC Dem who was planning on staying in the race and trying to actually win, obviously handing the race on the silver platter to the Republican, and a woman who I don't remember her name. I want to, you know what? I want to find her name because I want to give her credit. Nebraska Dem primary. Denise Powell. Denise Powell
okay,
won the primary. No, wait, that's
nice, okay.
actually, I think this is actually the wrong. It's the Senate primary, not the House primary. Burbank, here it is. Cindy Burbank. This is who it is. Cindy Burbank is who I want to give credit to. Cindy Burbank won the Democratic primary for the U.S. Senate seat in Nebraska under the guise that she's going to drop out.
Okay.
Cindy Burbank won, letting everyone know ahead of time that she intends to drop out so that it can be a one-on-one race between the Republican candidate and Dan Osborne. And because of that, Dan Osborne might actually fucking win this thing and take Nebraska, of all states, away from the Republicans.
That would be insane.
That would be
That
incredible.
would, yeah,
We could be
absolutely.
genuinely, we could be looking at a Fetterman-proof Democratic majority in the Senate come November.
Oh, dude, fuck John Fetterman so fucking hard, but
Dude,
yes.
I know. You saw the vote that they had on ending the Iran war, and 3 Republicans actually voted to end the Iran war, and then Fetterman, being the deciding vote, said, no, we should keep it going. Fuck you, John.
Dude, you know what? No, he's not worth it. We're just gonna, are you done with politics, by the way? Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Because,
I think I might be done.
yeah, because, it's always nice when you have political stuff you want to talk about, and it always kind of pops me. So I just want to make sure. But again, if you remember something though, don't be afraid to cut in and be like, "Okay, we go back," because this is a very fluid podcast. So I don't
Did you see the post about fucking Mike Johnson defending insider trading?
Dude, oh my god! I just said I wasn't going to rant, and then you reminded me of that, and I'm like, oh no, swallowing it. But I did see it. And these people really enjoy uneaten face. It's very aggravating.
It's a real shame,
very,
for
very.
sure. Yeah.
They
don't have the right.
God, if this world resembled your face, the level of happiness that I would know every day of my
You wouldn't
fucking
want to
life.
eat it any less, but the reason you want to eat it would be very different.
Exactly. But then I'd have free healthcare. So the reasons that I would have for that, I could get treated at like the time of the government. So yeah. Just fuck these people. Fuck these people so hard. Really, just again, fuck the whole apparatus. We deserve a better life than this. It's ridiculous. But on to the things that do keep us joyful and therefore resisting as best we can. Yes. So I feel like I talked enough about the movie. I don't need to give a dissertation on it. Did you want to share it now that you've had time to digest the movie? Is there anything you wanted to get from your vantage point about it?
Oh no, I enjoyed it. I will say though, we watched 3 movies this week. I don't know if everyone knew that already, but Hoppers was the 3rd movie that we watched this week. The first one was Rental Family with Brendan Fraser, and he was really good in that, and that was a really, really charming movie. I really loved that movie.
Dude, yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, and then I forget what the second movie was that we. What was the second movie that we watched? Oh, Goat. It was Goat. We watched Goat.
Oh yes, that one was kind of mad. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a bad movie, but I was like, eh.
That was one of those movies that I think the trailer made look better than it actually was.
Yeah.
Because it was a good movie, but the trailer made it look like it was going to be really good. Like, trailer expectation was like 8.5 out of 10. Actual movie was like 7 out of 10.
Right, yeah.
Maybe 7.5 if I'm being generous. It was a good movie. Like, I don't regret watching it, but it wasn't memorable to the point that I actually forgot that we watched it already, just trying to remember what movie we watched.
Yeah, exactly. But Hoppers, again, a movie was good when I'm thinking about it into the next day and I want to hear other people talk about it.
Yeah.
And just good outing from Pixar. Really, really good outing from Pixar. I was happy.
I honestly didn't even know that it was a Pixar movie until the fucking lamp came on and we started getting the Pixar intro for the movie.
Dude, same, because even the poster gave DreamWorks vibes, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, another, which nothing wrong with DreamWorks. I mean, hell, they did Wild Robot.
Wild Robot. We both had the exact same fucking thought. Jesus Christ.
But of course we did, because do you know how fucking sexy your brain is? Fuck. But dude, it's actually so funny because on the Double Toasted review, and even a few other reviews that I watched, people were like, oh, DreamWorks pulled a Pixar with Wild Robot, and Pixar pulled a DreamWorks with Hoppers. Now I know they kind of meant it as an insult, but I like both companies.
That actually makes almost too much sense. That's so true.
Yeah, but I do fundamentally get what they're driving at, and I'm like, well, they kind of ate with this one, but because I do think Wild Robot between the two is the better movie, but Hoppers on its own merits, especially because we're talking about things within the week, really fun. And look, dude, again, Titus is such a great villain in that movie. I was thinking about the line that popped up the most. Nice speech. Too bad it sucked. Oh my god! Like I love.
I wish
First of
John
all, I
Cena
love.
would have said that at one point, because John Cena's whole thing was fine speech. I wish he would have followed that up one time with "Too bad it sucked."
Yeah, yeah. Like
I would have died, dude. Holy shit, dude! You wasted a whole ass heel run by not using that
yeah. Like I just love that that line.
line.
First of all, is so me coded when I'm just turned up and making it
Yes,
everybody else's problem.
100%.
Second of all, I love the schoolyard bully energy with which he delivered it because it wasn't even menacing like fine speech. Too bad it sucked. No, it was really like, haha, nice speech. Too bad it sucked. I'm still gonna give you a swirly or whatever. Like I loved him. Like he's just such a great villain. And then just I'm not gonna give too much away, but yeah, like just great. Just great comeuppance, great everything for that villain. Yeah, and then so you said Rental Family was the other one to watch, and then Goated, and then I already kind of talked about those. Rental Family. I mean Brendan Fraser, I love that he's having a renaissance right now. Love that for him. It was a beautiful film. Goated. I'm probably gonna forget Goated before even the end of
Dude,
this
it's not
year,
even called
honestly.
Goated. It's just called Goat.
Yeah, see already, like I'm already forgetting because I'm mistitling it. But yeah, Hoppers I think is definitely gonna live in my brain a little bit. And then we watched trailers because we watched trailers for Wildwood. Was that what it was called, or was
That's
it
the one that's
Wild
coming out in
Woods?
October. Yeah.
The from the people that made Coraline, which to
Yep.
quote you, I called the shit out of because I recognized it
You
immediately. I'm like,
did.
this has
Yeah.
Coraline vibes.
Yep.
It looks like a gorgeous. It's stop motion. At first, I even wondered because it looked so like rich and complex. I'm like, is this stop motion? And apparently, according to the comments, it is, which
Yeah.
is insane to me. Like stop motion. You guys know that I try and have due respect for animation and different art styles that way. Stop motion, the patience, the meticulousness, everything of that art form to make something like that. Go and watch that trailer. I think again, Wildwood.
Yeah, all one
Um,
word, Wildwood. It's coming up in
yeah,
October 23rd.
yeah, watch that trailer, y'all. If you're a fan of stop motion animation, holy shit! And again, had those Coraline vibes because the people that made it are behind this. Um, I don't even really know what else to compare it to because at one point I'm like, is this more like Pan's Labyrinth? But not quite. But it definitely has like a fantasy vibe in it to me.
Yeah.
And I am so psyched for that one. I am so psyched for that one. And then what was the Michael B. Jordan animated movie?
Swapped. It's called Swapped.
Swap.
Yeah, because basically the whole gimmick is that Michael B. Jordan voices like a little like mouse gopher, little like hamster type thing, and Scarlett Johansson voices a bird, and they swap bodies somehow. And it's like, Scarlett Johansson's character is like trying to figure out like how to make herself beautiful again, and like Michael B. Jordan's trying to figure out how the hell these wings work and trying to figure out how to fly and stuff. And they go on like this whole adventure to try and find another flower like the one that they think made them swap. And maybe that is the case. I don't know. We haven't seen the movie yet. We're going to watch it tonight though, and I'm looking forward to that very much.
Yeah, definitely. So we did that, and we also watched because finally it's fucking happening. The teaser slash trailer because there was like a voiceover in it, which honestly kind of took away from me. I would have liked the action to speak for itself. But My Adventures with Superman season 3 at fucking last. It's dropping in close to mid June. Yes. I'm really excited for that. I think it's gonna be freaking great. And
I'm
so yeah,
honestly more looking forward to the rewatch of that than anything, because I feel like
yeah.
it's been so long since we've been able to watch that fucking show. I vaguely remember everything about it, but I also vaguely don't remember any good details about it. So
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm in a pretty similar space to you, honestly, with that. I'm also looking forward to the rewatch. Um, and then what else? We did watch Punisher: One Last Kill,
yes,
which
we
I know
did.
has gotten. I've been seeing like kind of a mixed bag of reviews. Some people liked it, other people were like, "Was this even really necessary?" But honestly, for me, I think I've become such a John Bernthal fan that
Yeah,
like even the worst thing he's in, I'm probably still gonna enjoy it by virtue of him being in it.
yeah.
Like to compare the most recent things we've seen because we watched this, and I think before this, the last John Bernthal thing we watched was His and Hers.
His and
I think His
hers.
and
Yeah,
Hers. I think His and Hers was honestly better than this,
dude.
but
Would you believe
yeah,
my fucking aunt? Or I think it was my cousin. One of them, either my aunt or my cousin, watched His and Hers.
that's amazing.
I found out about this at my cousin's son's birthday party back in March, and I was like, "Oh shit, you've seen His and Hers? Isn't it so good?" And like, yeah, of course they were like all about like how good it was. It was awesome.
Yeah, dude, that incredible. Again, if that's something else you guys haven't watched, check it out. It's a really short miniseries, like 6 episodes, and like they're not even like like I think they're all like around 40 some minutes. Really short. Um, but yeah, I would say that I like that better than this relative to, like, John Bernthal performances we've seen. But like he is still the Punisher. I think he still plays Frank Castle so fucking well.
Yeah,
And in fact, I think the scenes that did it most for me were the scenes where you really see his PTSD,
yeah.
the hallucinating, and like even the beginning when like he's talking, I guess, to the one guy that started the support group that I think also served
Curtis.
alongside Frank, Curtis, yeah. And he's kind of like self-harming with the knife
Yeah, he
and
cuts
like,
the
yeah,
X into his marine tattoo that he has.
exactly. And like, goddamn, or the scene where like he's at his grave, his daughter's grave, and like all that. Like, John Bernthal plays Frank, especially at his worst, like, mental health wise and everything, with such dedication. It's like, yeah, I felt that. I thought those were the best parts of the special, honestly. As dark as it sounds, like, yeah, because you got to see a more complete portrait of Frank rather than just, a shoot 'em up. But yeah, it was. I think it was good. I came down on the side of like, I'm glad we watched that. It was good. And again, I'm such a John Bernthal fan at this point that even if it sucked, I could be like, well, at least he was in it, and at least I enjoyed his performance.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really can't think of anything else that like we did as a family. I'm trying to think like if I'm forgetting anything. You seemed to already kind of
No,
lay
I think
everything
we've
out.
got the bases covered, bud. I have four things listed in our watch list for the week, and we've talked about all of them. It's Punisher, One Last
Nice.
Kill, Rental Family, Goat, and Hoppers, and that's it.
So now shifting it over to your face before I kind of pepper in with any of my stuff. Any music, games, anything on your own time that you'd like to talk about with the
So,
audience?
music wise, Noah Khan did drop a new album a little while ago. I have not gotten around to listening to that in full yet, but because he dropped the album, I've been obsessively listening to the album that I already know I like by him lately and like listening to like breakdowns of it and stuff. So that's been part of my thing. Um, I've been on. Let me actually pull up my YouTube music real quick because that always helps me to remember because it always shoots the stuff that I listened to recently up to the top. I've been on a real Conan Gray kick lately. I feel like I've definitely mentioned him on here before. I actually, literally, I have a playlist of every single song that he has ever put out in an album, and I actually have listened to that entire playlist front to back twice this week. That's
Yeah.
it's a 2.5 hour playlist that's got like almost 50 tracks in it, and I listened to it front to back twice this week. Um, that's about it musically. Gaming wise, I am on a Fire Emblem kick big time. I am hyper fixating on Fire Emblem. Maybe it's because there is a new Fire Emblem game coming out for the Switch 2 this summer that I'm very like. I wish that I could get excited to play immediately, but I feel so behind on the Fire Emblem games that I'm like, I know I'm not going to play that when it comes out, and I'm just hoping to be able to catch up to be able to play it at some point ever, basically. Because the last Fire Emblem game that I played at all was Radiant Dawn for the Wii.
Yeah.
It's been like 20 years, I think, since that game came out. So I really want to get into more Fire Emblem games, but you know me, I gotta start from the ground up. So I went back to the first Fire Emblem game that I ever played, which is actually Fire Emblem 7, the Blazing Sword or the Blazing Blade, people will call it. And I've been playing that, and I'm trying to get through that. I'm currently on chapter I think 18X. I want to say the X chapters are like side missions you can do, and I'm regretting doing this one because I have lost like 3 or 4 times now already. I've lost a unit on it and had to restart the chapter all over because it is really difficult because there's like a point like 3 turns in where they introduce a character who is surrounded by super high level units that you can just avoid if you want. But like, you know me, I'm not gonna avoid them. I'm gonna go try and kill them, right? And it's really difficult to do. So yeah, that's my whole
You know what? I'm proud of you for enduring and for trying. And, I was kind of thinking of this, and I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna fucking go for it. Your face is emblematic of the fire in my heart.
Oh
There. I,
my goodness,
I feel like I nailed it.
you're
I don't
beautiful.
know. Nice. But, yeah, man, I guess for me, I did play more of the handheld you got me finally. I know it's been
Oh,
a bit because I've been so
nice.
wrapped up in reading everything else. I did Star Fox 64 quite
Oh,
a bit,
fuck yeah.
and
Dude, you realize they're literally putting out a remake of that game on Switch 2 with updated graphics in like a month
that
or two.
yeah, that's what kind of inspired me because I did see the teaser for that. Slippy needs to get their fucking shit together. I'm not gonna bail you out every 5 fucking seconds. And then because I was reminded how much I love that game, I watched the two college humor skits. Well, now they're called Dropout, but years ago when they were called College Humor, because I'm fucking ancient apparently.
Mhm.
They did two skits revolving around Starbucks that I really enjoyed, and so yeah, I played that game a little bit.
You realize that
Played
Dropout is the streaming service that has Game Changer on it,
Game
right?
changers.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Starbucks is a big thing. Did some like wrestling games and stuff. So yeah, I've been getting back on the handle just because I need to decompress from, reality
Life.
and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
everything
yeah.
happening there. But yeah, no, it's been a fun week. And like you said, we're planning on watching Swapped tonight, and that should hopefully be like a lot of fun because we're making good time. It's almost 12:30 now, and I've already gotten my big stuff done. So unless there's anything else you want to talk about, I think I'm good, really, and we can move on to Q&A. So I'll leave that to you though, if there's anything else you wanted to
I think we
address.
can move on to Q&A, which good lord, Super Blue went ham.
Indeed, he did, as per usual for him. Oh, and Foster got questions in. That's nice.
Hooray, Alex.
Nice. Oh, and Javaris got questions in too. Okay, so this is going
I
to be an
saw
interesting
that,
one this
yeah.
week. Yeah, all right. So let's start with, well,
Super Blue
obviously, question one.
question 1. Do you think CM Punk will win Money in the Bank to challenge and beat Cody for the title?
I hope not. But I guess it's possible. I mean, I'm not going to discount it, Super Blue. I honestly don't know. I want to say doubt because why would CM Punk at this stage of his career and his age be in a ladder match like that and need the briefcase? But I really can't say definitively like no, So I'll say maybe, but God, I hope not.
I kind of want you to now.
No, but I just really I hope not. So what about you, bud? Do you have anything like you want to add to this?
I really doubt it. I don't think that CM Punk is even going to be in Money in the Bank. I will say though, if he is, I would absolutely consider him a favorite to win the thing.
Yeah, you're right. It's unfortunate, but you're right. Um,
I hate it when I
question,
say things that are correct that I don't want to be right about.
dude, right? Who the
Just like,
fuck made me this logical to see bad things happening to me? Fuck
God
you.
damn it.
Um,
Fuck.
Question 2. Why is TNA hellbent on letting Aries keep the X Division title record? He doesn't deserve to have it anymore. That is another thing I became aware of. I didn't actually watch the footage. But Cedric Alexander ended Leon Slater's X Division title reign one day, I believe, before he was set to break the record, which, wow. Love Cedric. No problem with Cedric whatsoever. But I know Leon Slater, like, his stock's pretty high right now. I'm amazed you just wouldn't give him that. Maybe they just didn't want him to give him that because he is going to go to WWE eventually. And, like, if you're not a TNA committed guy, why would we give you this? Or maybe that's not even it at all.
Meanwhile, Austin Aries is a huge piece of shit and also not in TNA either.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how wrestling thinks, man. If I did, maybe I could improve the product or maybe just even enjoy it more. I don't know. But I don't know, Super Blue. It's kind of crazy. I don't really care for Austin Aries, but I don't know. He still has the record, I guess. Or maybe really what it is, which is insane because Leon Slater does seem to also be pretty fucking over from what I've heard. Like, I haven't really heard anybody speak ill of him, fan or otherwise. Maybe they're waiting for somebody quote unquote better to come along to break the record, but it's like Leon seemed pretty fucking fine to me. So
No,
again,
dude, I
I
think
don't
you're
know.
actually onto something with the WWE thing. I think that you're right about that. I think that they want to keep him off of their record books and if they're gonna, because here's the thing, Austin Aries has been in WWE, but he's never gonna be seen as a WWE guy. And Leon
Exactly.
Slater absolutely could go down that route because that dude is talented as hell. And if the WWE knows what's good for them, which I'll be the first one to tell you they fucking don't, but
Yeah.
if they happen to trip over themselves and become a broken clock that happens to be right twice a day, they will push the shit out of Leon when he gets there.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm really turning up right now. I'm loving your energy right now. I think is what it is. Your energy right now, it's feeding me, and I really appreciate it. Question three. This fucking question. Will you acknowledge LA Knight so we can be put on TV again? Question 4 from Superboy. If you could have Trick Williams pimp slap someone, who would it be? Huh. You know what? Elon. Because his dad was hella racist, he's hella racist, and I know there are other people that are hella racist in that cabinet, but Elon is so pathetic and insecure, he'd probably kill himself after it happened, and that would be one less billionaire in the world. So I'm going to say Elon Musk. Who do you want Trick to pimp slap?
Um, you know what? I love the Elon answer. But I don't know if it would do anything other than just embarrass Elon, which like if that dude hasn't gotten used to being embarrassed by now, I don't think he ever will be.
So true.
Um, low key, I want to just say Trump, man, just because like he might explode into dust upon impact.
Yeah, he might smack the dementia out of him. That'd be amazing. Alright, question
Oh
5 for both.
shit!
Which, I think he meant to say makeshift team. Do
Makeshift,
you see?
yeah, makeshift
Yeah.
team.
Do you see forming and winning tag titles first? Chelsea Green / Tiffany or Sammy and Gargano?
I am excited about the Sammy Gargano connection. That has been great.
You know what? Because your face answered it, just because it stun locked me thinking about, do I even want either of these teams? I'll just co-sign with you and say Sammy and Gargano.
Chelsea
Question.
and Tiffany are doing things backstage. By the way, I don't know who Tiffany's plastic surgeon is, but they are whoever did her face is much better than whoever did her boobs because her face I swear to God, she showed up on SmackDown, and I was like, "What the fuck is Eva Lise doing on SmackDown?" God, I swear to you, you could ask my mom. She's in the room with me. I thought she was Eva Lise. I was so fucking confused. She looks so much like Eva Lise now. It's crazy.
Well, that's one for the TWitWoW archive. So, question 6 for both of us. Have you had any dreams you felt were real only to realize it wasn't? Absolutely.
Yes, I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I hate that because I've had bad dreams that I thought were real only to wake up and be relieved that it wasn't too. And that
Same.
actually happens more commonly. But the ones I remember the most are the ones that are good that I think are real and then wake up angry about them not being real.
Just to give a bad one as an example for me, just because like I really feel like I narrowly avoided having like a lot of dental problems. There have been times I've dreamed where like teeth will fall out of my mouth and
That's
like
one of the
I'll
most
wake up and I'll
common
like
dreams among everyone in the world, by the way.
yeah. Yeah, and I'll wake up and I'll kind of put my hand in my mouth and I'll be like, okay, you're all
Yes.
still here. Or
Yeah.
like roll my tongue around and be like, okay, nothing's loose. Like
Yup.
we're good. We're good.
Yep.
So
For
yeah, I've
me,
absolutely
the one bad one that I can immediately think of off the top of my head without even having to really like ponder on it too much is I had a dream that I was driving and my car's brake stopped working while I was at the top of a hill. And I
oh
caught it just
Jesus.
in time that I didn't go down the hill without brakes that work. But of course, then I had to like call AAA and get them to come tow my car, and it was a whole thing. And I was like, literally in this dream, I was like mentally dealing with the financial stress that comes with having to get new brakes on my car while I was waiting for the fucking AAA towing service to come. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, thank fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Goddamn. Question 7. If you could end the career of Cody, what type of match would it be and how would you book it? There are two ways you could take this. If you
Jesus
wanted to just
Christ,
be
Super Blue. If I could end the career of Cody, I would do it backstage without it being publicized and get rid of him.
yeah, I mean, ideally that is what we would do, but just to indulge you a bit, Super Blue, just because I completely just moved past question 3 for my own like popping purposes. Um I would probably you'd have to put some kind of upstart in there that I would want to see rise. So like just because I really don't give a shit in a way because it's Cody, let's just say Mason Rook, right? Just to put a fucking name out there. He like targets Cody. He wants to be a career killer, you know, because he's seen how that works out well for other guys. But I would have it be a match that Cody would splooge over. You know, again, if I wanted to even do this with even an ounce of sincerity,
A
and it would be
strap
like
match.
a strap match, or I was going to say a Texas bull rope match or something like that, because I
Yeah.
know Dusty, his dad, like did a lot of those. And
Yep.
then you just have Mason Rook beat him in a Texas bull rope match. Again, this is just really a flimsy hypothetical just to answer the question and treat it with a bit more sincerity. But yeah, fuck Cody Rhodes. Tire him backstage.
Yeah. Honestly,
Um,
yeah. Like if my sincere answer is if I can get rid of Cody. I am getting rid of Cody, and I'm not making a hubbub about it. But if you're telling me that I have to book Cody in a match where his career would be on the line and I would have to book him to lose, I love John's idea of booking him in a match that Dusty was famous for and having him lose that. That's amazing. But that also
Your face
gives
is
him,
amazing.
that also does give him the sort of right to say that he was in that type of match at all. And I don't even want to do that. Um, I don't want to put him in the 2 out of 3 falls match and have him lose 2 straight.
Oh, you know what? I love that idea too, bro. Yeah, we crush this. You're amazing. All
Your
right.
face is amazing.
Your face is God. We're so much better than Cody and Elena. I'm so happy we're us. Like if we woke up as those people, oh fuck.
Ooh.
Anyway, dude, right? Same, big
Ooh.
same. So Javaris forwarded, I guess, just news from MMA Junkie that John Jones expressed interest in escaping his UFC contract to fight Francis Ngannou with MVP, and he said, "quote." I've got to try and focus on getting out of my UFC contract. That's going to be the difficult part of it. This fight's going to happen. I don't think Dana is interested in doing business with Francis, so doing it with MVP would probably be the only way to make it happen. And if we could get out of my contract, that would be great. And Javaris' question is, thought on John Jones wanting to escape his contract with the UFC to fight Francis, even though in my opinion he ducked the man for the better part of 2 years with the help of Dana White's bitch ass. So this is a direct quote from Javaris. Dude, I gotta tell you, I'm so disconnected from UFC. Like, I'm aware of John Jones. There was a brief time when I tried to get into UFC that I like. John Jones is pretty fucking cool. Like, you really seem like obviously every fighter is legit to a degree, but like when I say legit, I'm like, man, this dude, his abilities are stacked. But I've been so disconnected. I don't really know how to feel. I think any fighter or anybody that wants to, pursue a potential avenue for business or potential fight just for the thrill of it should have the freedom to do that. Again, this just comes back to a lot of my problems with capitalism and with corporations and businesses and stuff like that. So I hope he's able to do it just for his own sake if he really wants it. But beyond that, I really don't have an opinion, or certainly not an informed opinion. Do you have anything you want to add to this?
I would like to know like what method he has been ducking Ngannou, because you say he's been ducking him, and I can appreciate that, like just on its face value. But I would like to know more details about that on how he's been ducking him, because I would like to just have more information about this before I make a definitive statement about it. But I mean, yeah, John, at the very core of it, John is right. Fuck contracted work in general,
Yeah. Thank you, friend.
especially like predatory
So
contracts that lock you into not being able to work anywhere else.
Exactly. So then Javaris had a second question, and again, this is another forwarded story. This one from ESPN about MMA. Conor McGregor books July 11th return against Max Holloway, which is apparently going to be a non-title welterweight bout at UFC 329. And Javaris asked, also thoughts on this fuck-ass piece of shit, again, quoting Javaris directly, coming back to fight in July. Again, really no opinion. And
Just to be
look,
clear, by the
whatever.
way, I wanna like go out of my way to agree with Javaris that Conor McGregor is a fuck ass piece of shit. I can't stand that dude.
From what I've heard, and that makes three, because I also agree with you guys, but also if he draws money and they see a financial incentive in that, again, capitalism is the last system to have any crisis of conscience or morality. If he draws money and they feel like it's going to be box office, they're going to do it. So really, again, it's not even like, yeah, Conor McGregor as an individual is certainly a piece of shit, not disputing that. But the problem, again, for me is always structural. It's always systemic. We have a culture that can allow him back in because of financial incentive. So long as he still has social value, like in that way, he's always going to have visibility for somebody or, a lot of people in this case. So yeah, really, again, it's just fuck capitalism to me. So anything else you want to add to this?
Nope. I I should let you guys all know, and Javaris, I don't want you to think that I'm angry at you because I'm not. This is cool. But I personally am extremely anti UFC, anti MMA, all that stuff. I think it is just not something that I'm ever going to be interested in. It's something that I actively avoid. So if you guys want to ask MMA related questions, you can target them at John because you're not going to get anything useful out of me.
And really, I'll even go and say, like, I'm so disconnected from it. I don't even know why you guys would want to ask me unless you want to hear me like go in on people, and even then, that's going to be limited. Neither one of us is just really engaged with it at all. I mean, dude, I'm barely connected to pro wrestling as it is, and that was at least childhood shit, you know. So like, that's just the state of me with stuff like that. But yeah, no harm or foul there, Javaris, in asking the questions. I mean, that's what Q&A is for. But yeah, just letting you know in the future if you'd ever think of other questions, because I love seeing that you ask questions, and I love seeing that Foster asked questions here, which is our oh well, Abel also asked a question. It was the usual tribal chief question. No, I have not. You know what I do like to acknowledge though? Ashton's face, because of how magnificent it fucking is. We have been so great today. I'm just so full of love and coziness right now. You're so much better than Roman Reigns. Holy shit.
Certainly a better person.
Yeah, absolutely. That's unfucking deniable. I also, just to put it out there, obviously not tribal because that's Samoan, and like me as a white guy, that does the optics just feel like a nightmare to even go there. But I do feel like I could be a better leader than Roman Reigns, just generally speaking. Like I have my unhinged moments, but I just feel like on the whole I'd be more compassionate to my underlings, and we would just do cool shit. So yeah, I mean, who the
They
fuck is Roman
wouldn't.
Reigns even
They
compared to me?
wouldn't. They wouldn't see themselves as underlings. They'd see themselves as your partners.
That's so true. God, I'd be good at this. Who the fuck is Roman Reigns? But yeah, so yeah, Abel, that answers that question. I ain't acknowledging shit. So then we get to Foster. First question's just for me. If I were the newest member of the Vanity Project, just 1 second, just having that moment to really feel the full joy of that fucking dream. If you were the newest member of the Vanity Project, would you be able to convince them to like philosophy? Well, here's my audition. Hundos, 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 I would. Because listen, the thing with philosophy, and I've learned this from experience, you have to meet people where they're at. You can't just tell them, oh, read Plato. Now, do I enjoy reading Plato? Sure, I do. But like, you gotta
I
let
want you
people
to
come.
know that ever since you took a seat back to really like take it in with the potential of you being a member of the Vanity Project, you haven't fully gotten back to full volume back. You're still pretty quiet.
Oh, how about now? Because I'm sitting more upright.
Yeah,
Is this
that's
better?
much better. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just to say again, first of all, dream come true being a part of the Vanity Project with Jackson Drake. But yeah, like, could I get them to like philosophy? Hundos. Because what I've learned from experience is you got to meet people where they're at. You can't just say to anybody, because I know this is a gateway, especially in Western philosophy. We should be very clear. There are many philosophical traditions, but I know like Western philosophy is almost universalized as just philosophy par excellence. Like everything else is either just mysticism or whatever, which is bullshit and chauvinistic and racist and all that stuff. But regardless, not everybody like Plato isn't going to be a gateway for everybody. You have to meet people where they're at. Like just to give an example, and I'm probably taking this question too seriously, but if I'm talking to like a young black man trying to get him into philosophy, I would turn him on to say like Fanon, who did like anti-colonial stuff, or like Maisha Cherry, who's written about like Black Lives Matter and like anti-racist protest movements and stuff like that. Things that actually materially affect their day-to-day life. So then bringing it back to the Vanity Project, well, I mean, they're good looking, they're popular, and so like for example, them being swipe right, that tells me that they're plugged into Tinder and like app culture and stuff like that. Maybe I would give them something in like the ethics of technology, like hey, maybe unplug from the phone a little bit, or maybe I would give them something about aesthetics, being like hey, you think you're beautiful, this philosopher agrees with you, and then just whatever. You got to meet people where they're at in their particularity, and then you lead them to the more classical stuff, and preferably from all traditions. So I think I could do it. You just have to do it intelligently. You can't just treat it like universe, like a one size fits all thing that never works. So I could do it. I can meet the fucking challenge. But now the next question is for Ashton's face. What NFL team schedule release would you want to be a part of?
I don't know if I understand this question.
I don't either. I wish Foster was here. Is he actually? No, he's been very active in the chat this episode. So Foster, if you're still here, if you could
Is he just
elaborate
asking
on the
like
question.
which NFL team I would want to participate in the schedule release of?
I think that is what he's asking fundamentally.
Interesting.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's just a weird. I don't know how to answer that. I would say, um, hmm. I'm gonna say the Jaguars because that gets me closest to Able, and then I can visit.
Dude, I love how you 5D chess fucking everything. God, that was amazing. All right. Final question. If John Cena was still a heel, what other announcements would he make? I'm just gonna go for the nuclear option. Uh, I would say his announcement, if he was still a heel, would be that he was severing ties with the Make a Wish Foundation. I don't want to see any more of you sick kids. You can all kick rocks if you could even get out of the hospital bed. Like that, would he be a piece of shit? Yes. But if he's a heel and he really wants that nuclear heat, yeah, his announcement would be I denounce the Make a Wish Foundation and I'm no longer associated with them. Get fucked, everyone else. What about you, bud? What announcement would you have John Cena make if he was a heel?
Oh my god, I don't know how I'm gonna top that. Jesus Christ.
Oh god, I'm a terrible person, but it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, you could just, I mean, you know how like back in the day when he was like rapper John Cena, when he was a
Yeah,
babyface, he would wear the jersey of the home team, and when he was a heel, he would wear the jersey of their rival, right?
yeah.
So like whatever town he goes to, the announcement that he makes is related to politics, and it
Yeah.
is announcing, an election where somebody won that the people that are there don't like.
Ah, okay.
So like
Yeah.
just as an example, in Philadelphia, he can announce like something that Donald Trump did that's like a success for the Trump regime, or like when he goes to like fucking I don't know like Corpus Christi, he can like talk about James Tallarico's success or something like that. You know, like make like a big announcement that's like the politician that the town doesn't like.
I love that yours is so grounded but still realistic, and I was just like, say fuck them kids into the mic. God damn. All right. That was Q&A. I gotta tell you, that was one of the best Q&As I think we've done. That was quick, snappy, and yeah, like good shit. So now we can move on to high spots and low shots. Um, my low shot. Let me see. What do I want to do here? Because I was so
I don't
disconnected from
know. You
wrestling.
should tell me.
God, you're so right. I can tell you anything. Um, God, I want to say that my low shot. You know what? Even if it's not necessarily true per se, like I want to say my low shot is billionaires because if you have to use up the media that you own to have editorials written about how great you are, I always feel like the benefit of being in the upper echelon is having access to data and information that even we may not know. And like we already know that the opinion of the really wealthy is very low in this country, deservedly so. But they may even know stuff that we don't. Like, are they really wondering, like, is the warehouse fire and the Mangionjis, allegedly, mind you, are they going to become more normal? Like, we've got to do a propaganda effort, because that's what this is. It's propaganda. And so if you have to do propaganda for yourselves, it is rough. And already Mamdani is showing that all of your bullshit against like social democracy and these kinds of policies of like higher taxes would ruin our lives and ruin the country is fucking bullshit. Like they are taking L's where it may not matter most immediately, but it's gonna matter in the ninth inning. Right. And so I'm going to say my low shot is actually billionaires, whether it's earned or not. I just feel like, again, when you have to use newspapers to bolster your image, that's telling to me. And that's not something I'm just going to ignore. So who is your low shot?
Before I do give my low shot, I want to address a couple comments in the chat. First of all, according to Javaris, Ronda Rousey tapped out to Gina Carano in 17 seconds.
What the fuck?
That's so fucking
Yeah.
funny. Oh, Javaris, why would you pay for that fucking show, dude? What are you doing?
I thought it was for free on Netflix.
Oh, I wonder if he made a bet on it then. That he said he was out $40, so that sucks for sure. Um,
Don't give into the gambling epidemic, Javaris. Everything's gambleable now. It's horrible.
the other comment I wanted to address though was Super Blue saying, "What about Power Slap?" That's even worse than MMA because,
Oh,
like,
Power Slap fucking
yeah, like
sucks.
at least with MMA, there's a chance of like if I'm really good at this, I can come away unscathed and only injure the other person to the degree that it takes to get them to tap out. With Power Slap, you're guaranteeing that both you and your opponent are walking away from this with a fucking concussion. Fuck
Which is
you.
of course, which is of course is why people like Jake Hager took to it like a fish to water. Like of course, like cause like when I saw that he was doing it, I'm like, people surprised? Zero. Oh, and Javaris did want to put a correction that it was Ronda that beat Gina. That makes more sense because Gina
Oh
Carano beating
shit.
Ronda Rousey.
Okay,
Yeah,
Ronda tapped. You know what? That actually makes so much sense, if for no other reason, because I feel like Gina has been out of the UFC game for way longer than Ronda.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um. So yeah, okay. So oh yeah, you haven't even given a low shot yet because you did want to respond to those comments. So who
Oh
is your
yeah.
low shot?
Uh, low shot is gonna be. Oh man, there's so many options this time around. Um, yeah, actually, you know what? I do have a low shot, but I have to look up his name. I think it's Forbes. Yeah, Willie. Nope, that's a Democrat. Never mind. Um, Pete Ricketts. My low shot is Pete Ricketts, who won the Republican primary in Nebraska to try and become a U.S. senator. But because of that woman, the Democrat who won, who said that she's going to drop out, he's probably going to be the first Republican to lose Nebraska in decades. So have fun there, jackass.
Yes. Um, I gotta tell you, I'm really tempted to make my high spot your face because I've just had a really fun fucking time with you tonight on this episode.
Let's
But
go.
I know that wouldn't be proper form, and then it'd be like, well, that's not fair because it's your guys' podcast, and all those other things that are so annoying, even if they are correct.
It might not be
Uh,
proper
s-
form, but it might be proper face.
oh my God, so many things just happened in my nether regions at once. So let's talk about a high spot. Uh, shit. I,
Why?
you know what? I am going to say that my high spot. No, that doesn't work because he did lose, and it just feels like a participation trophy, and I don't want to do that
Who
crap.
lost? Who were you thinking of that you're
I
not
was
gonna go with?
thinking Royce Keys because I like that he stepped up to
Oh,
Gunther and he even had a
okay.
match with him, but he did lose. Um,
Participation trophy.
yeah. Um, yeah, this is hard because again, I was so disconnected from wrestling. I don't even want to go to pro wrestling if I can help it because again, it just feels disingenuous. Um,
Mamdani balanced the budget. He's an option for you.
I was wondering if you wanted to give it to Mom Donnie, and so I didn't want to
You
take
can
that
have
from you
him.
if
You
you were.
can have him.
Yeah, then I guess I will just say Mamdani because yeah, he's doing great stuff, and if nothing else, he is really showing the force that has been so much of the narrative around government for decades. And like, if that doesn't radicalize you, then I never want to give up on someone, but I really have to scratch my head and be like, well, what would do it then? Because he's pulling the veil from a lot of people's eyes. Like, it really is that easy. It is doable. All these things that people I always remember this about the powerful, and I said this during COVID, and I'm saying it again now, and you could say it on repeat, and it never stops being true. When the powerful say that something can't be done, what they're really saying is we won't do it, or we don't want to do it. Because you even look at COVID. Oh, we can't do remote work. Oh, we can't do this. You did it pretty fucking quickly when it was your asses on the line. They have to feel their feet to the fire to do anything. And again, Zoran just shows like how bullshit that is. I mean, that estate tax I think is going to bring so much into the city for working people. He balanced the budget like you said, which is fucking huge. And yeah, like who really, because if you're a fiscal conservative, you should love him because he balanced the budget, right? The only people that would really be against him, you're either racist, you're a class traitor because you're too busy licking and or deep throating that boot, or just yeah, just you're on that like woke bullshit and you feel like it's the end of times because oh my god, a Muslim is mayor of New York City, which touch grass. And again, it kind of goes back to the racist thing anyway. So I feel like you don't have any substantive ground to come at him. And any left critiques, like I'm always open to hearing them, but again, this is the system we do have. And while there are things that I would like to see happen, real Marxists would tell you have to pay attention to material conditions. And the material conditions say that the people aren't ready to give up on electoralism yet. And given this wave of like populist Democrats, it might have just extended its lifespan. And maybe that's not such a bad thing if they actually deliver for the fucking people. And that still remains to be seen because it's day by day. You got to prove it, right? And so far, Mamdani's proved it. So good on him. But now, who is your high spot going to be then?
Man, you'd think I would have something prepared for this, given how long it took, but that's not the case.
That's why I didn't really want to take Mamdani from you, unless you just want to kind of join me. We could celebrate him together. Is just
I do really appreciate what Mamdani's doing, and I think that you've really done a great job of pointing out what the best thing that he's doing is, which is just kind of shining a light on the bullshit, and
yeah,
pointing out like it's like that meme of like all of the Democrats are like, listen, we know the orphan crushing machine is bad, but there's just nothing we can do to turn it off. And then Mamdani gets in office and he just hits a button and turns it off. He's like, it was here the whole time.
exactly, exactly. And that's
Um,
why, like, any people like to the left of Mamdani or whatever, like, you should be meeting his constituents where they're at and being like, if you love Mamdani, like, we want to go even further if possible.
mhm.
And like tell them this isn't the limit. Not to say that it's bad, because see, there's a qualitative difference. You're not saying it's bad. You're just saying it's not the limit. It's not the boundary of leftward politics. You can go further. We promise. You have to meet people where they're at. Because this is something that I've done wrong for a long time. And I really would like to course correct now that I'm close to my mid 30s. You've got to meet people where they're at. You could talk about revolution and all this stuff all you want, but it's empty rhetoric and it's just vacuous aesthetics. You have to go on the ground. You have to do the fucking work. And even if you don't like people for like one policy out of 10, you meet the people that like the other nine and are like, let's go for 10. Let's go for a perfect fucking game. Let's go further left. That's the way. Um, I'm sorry though, I didn't want to cut off your momentum. Have you figured out a high spot yet for yourself?
No, if anything, you just bought me some time, and I'm putting it to no good use because I still haven't decided who my high spot is. I guess I am just going to kind of do the cop out answer and just stick with what I already gave my low shot for and say my high spot's Dan Osborne because he's probably going to be a senator and he's probably going to do it as an independent in fucking Nebraska of all places. That to me is such a huge story that not enough people are talking about. Um, Dan Osborne is, I'm sure he's not a perfect candidate. I don't know enough about him in terms of like all of his political views and stuff, but the fact that you've got a pro worker independent who refuses to caucus with the Dems even is I don't know. I think that's pretty exciting, especially because again he's up 5 points on the Republican that was nominated, and that's really exciting for the Democrats, really, because if he stays as an independent and he doesn't caucus with either party, and the Republicans end up with like let's say 47 seats and the Dems with 52, and then Osborne is that one independent doesn't caucus with either, the Dems would still have the majority, which means that they would be able to choose the Senate majority leader, which means that they would get to take control of what bills are brought to the floor and voted on in the first place. It also means that they would still have a Fetterman proof majority. Like, that would be huge. And I think they might even do better than that. I think they might even get up to 53, which would put the Republicans down to 46 if Osborne wins, which would be even better. Like, this election, I think that this could be a generational blue wave.
And you know what? I love that you went that route because it's only because of you that we even talked about this story on the show to begin with because it was completely off my radar. So I want to thank you for bringing that to
Yeah,
our attention. And
I'm
again,
paying
yeah,
very very close attention to the midterms,
yeah,
because like you already know, dude, the Republicans are trying really fucking hard to rig them as much as they can.
absolutely.
Dude, you want to talk about too big to rig? This midterm is getting to the point that it is going to be too big to rig. Like, if the Strait of Hormuz is still not opened by like September even, which is only like 4 months away now, 3.5 if you want to go by the beginning of September, we could be looking at like a 15, 20 point swing towards Democrats in November.
And bro, like you would need to, because, and I understand, like, let me just stop. I want to acknowledge that what you're saying is just unequivocally correct, right? So this isn't like a debate thing. This is just me more like expounding upon what you just said. We need to understand the material conditions of the Strait of Hormuz being closed, for another 4 months. Because I really do think in some states, like, I don't think it's hyperbolic to say you could see food shortages, because we've
Oh
already
yeah,
talked about the crisis with the farmers
for
and
sure.
everything else. Like, this to me, and I was talking
You're
about it
going
with
to
my
see a
sister.
lot of like old legacy farms getting shut down because they can't afford to maintain actually doing their jobs in farming because they can't afford diesel because all of the farming equipment runs on diesel.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking about this with my sister, and like I love her deeply, and I do think she has a great head for like a lot of politics, because unlike me, she really is doing stuff at the local level. And like it's funny, like I even joke with her, like, you're a better anarchist than me, just with like how she lives and how she reaches out to people. But she said, like, I always hear about like tipping points and this and that, but society always like just kind of chugs forward more or less. But it really does, because it is just such a far right government, and wealth inequality, I think, is at such an apex of like tension and everything else. It really does feel like the material conditions are different from even the Bush years when we were in the Iraq War. This is a totally different ballgame. And I say all of that to say this is going to be a very interesting hour for electoral politics, because I agree with you that it could be a generational blue wave, but one of two things here: either of that wave gets stopped by rigging and political interference and all this stuff, or that blue wave doesn't undo a lot of the Trump policies. You're dealing with a people that you've really materially fucked with considerably. And that's the thing too. Like we've talked about, if this regime would have kept gas prices down and food affordable, I think you could do whatever the fuck you wanted in those ICE camps. Like, I don't like saying it, but I truly believe that that's true. We are a white supremacist country. Even those of us that are like actively trying to be anti-racist, there are unconscious processes that kind of uphold whiteness as a concept, right? But like, you've fucked everybody. Everybody. And so, yeah, I feel like a backlash is coming, man, because it's not even about like the most vulnerable, because they've always been fucked with. I mean, let's keep it 100, right? Things have never really gotten better for them. If anything, they've only gotten worse. It's, you have now fucked with middle class white people. You have now fucked with
And
even
dude,
some white collar white people.
you mentioned middle class white people. I have noticed in every single presidential election that I've paid attention to,
Yeah.
the nominee who gets voted for the most by suburban educated white people is the one that wins the election. Like I hate to even put it that way because it implies that nobody else's votes matter. But like at the end of the day, the presidential nominee who wins over the suburban white vote is the president who fucking wins the election. End of story. That's just how it works. And
Yeah.
if you just apply that broadly to the elections in general, suburban white people are fucking pissed off right now because everything is more expensive. And most of them do not believe the horseshit narrative that it's Biden's economy still, because we are now a year and a half basically into Trump running things, making things worse for everyone, and then again just trying to blame everything on Biden. Like it's unbelievable that we basically are experiencing multiple Watergate level scandals every fucking week, it feels like, and there is just no consequences ever. And I think that at the very, very bare minimum, a Democrat controlled Congress will be more capable of bringing actual consequences to the people who need to get the consequences brought onto them.
Dude, you're so right, and I just want to tack onto that this dude has been caught. Well, not even caught, because he said it openly. I think he said twice that I'm aware of, that he does not care about the struggles of cost for like Americans as it
Yep,
relates to this Iran war.
yep.
Like, so you're even caught saying like, which again, like,
They're going to use
not to
that
go on a whole
too.
tangent.
They're
Yeah,
going to campaign on that. They're going to win because of that.
they fucking, dude, that is the easiest fucking ad you could ever fucking make. So no, I don't want to go on a whole tangent about it. I think we've had a really great discussion here, and again, I want to bring it full circle and say thank you for even broaching that story about Nevada to begin with, because that
Nebraska.
wasn't like Nebraska, excuse me, Nebraska to begin with, because it wasn't even on my radar. But yeah, no, these midterms, man, and really just the remainder of the presidency, even beyond it, dude, like. America just feels like a house of cards to me. It really does. The precarity, I don't even know if the precarity is fully sunk in for a lot of us, between the brain drain, between the cuts. Like, I know hantavirus even, it doesn't seem like it's going to reach pandemic levels according to every expert that I've seen, but just the idea that we've severely made cuts to our health infrastructure. Like, I was even thinking, like, I wanted to talk to you on the show. It's crazy how, and probably for even longer, but just bear with me here. For like a decade, the focus has been, let's strive for the US to have universal health care because there's no reason why we shouldn't have it,
No,
right?
dude, you're
And
right about the decade, because when the Obama administration did Obamacare,
yeah,
that was like the compromise. That was the
yeah,
compromise. That was like them basically being like, okay, well, we can't do the socialist thing. We can't do full on like one, single payer healthcare. We have to do this sort of compromised version that will actually pass in Congress, because you still need 60 votes in Congress to do shit like that. And that was what they ended up doing. They basically had to compromise with the Republicans in order to get that passed. And I think it was
yeah.
specifically John McCain, actually, that was the passing vote for the ACA.
Yeah. So I appreciate you coming in and adding that historical context. But like, just to say that our current moment is so bad that that was where the ball was originally on the field. And if politics actually work the way, and I'm sorry to keep coming after this group, but I do feel like they also hamper, especially the efforts of more progressive Democrats. Your prototypical liberal, like you'd see on the Daily Show. Like I remember after Mangione allegedly killed Brian Thompson, they're like, oh, you shouldn't use violence. Like, if you want universal health care or whatever, vote. Motherfucker, there was nobody on the ballot that really like embraced that kind of healthcare. But now things are so bad that it isn't even just universal healthcare, which we still absolutely deserve. Do not get it fucking twisted. But it's also fund the National Institute of Health, fund the Center for Disease Control, because there has been such deep cuts to our health infrastructure that even if it's not hantavirus this time, I am really terrified of the next like pandemic or next like cataclysmic medical event because we are so underprepared. But that is the shit thing about living in this
Underfunded, yeah.
society. Underfunded because that is really the shit thing about living in this society is the inadequate funding, the underpreparedness, because and that's why I'm rooting for this brand of Democrats that are more populist. I'll say, because I do think that's honest without saying like, oh yeah, they're dyed in the wool leftist, because I won't go that far, and you guys know I'm very wary because I think the last time I really got burned was Bernie, and like I feel like even I kind of
And you
had
know
some
what
trauma
though?
after all
I
that.
think that with Bernie, I don't think that it's even fair to say that you got burned by him.
As much as the Democratic establishment, seemingly.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
really like the Democratic establishment, and more specifically that fucking Florida woman. I forget her name. There's a
I know who you're talking
Debbie
about. Debbie
Debbie
Wasserman
Wasserman
Schultz, right?
Schultz. Yep, Debbie
Yeah.
Wasserman Schultz was really like the main thing that really kind of fucked him over, because she was like the president of the DNC in 2016. And then like 2020, a lot of the blame has to go to Jim Clyburn, but it's again, it was like an organized effort by the DNC to prevent Bernie from winning the nomination, because the Democratic Party, the establishment of the Democratic Party, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, the Chuck Schumers of the world, the Hakeem Jeffries of the world, would rather a Republican win than an anti-capitalist Democrat.
Yeah. And bro, you talk about too big to rig like in an electoral context. I feel like the general population is so hungry for a new politics. They're not being manipulated on
Dude,
Israel.
I don't know if
They're
you even
yeah.
saw this, but there was actually a poll recently that came out that said that AOC might be leading the current field of Democratic nominees to
I
be president in 2028.
I did see that because Kyle Kowinski, aka Secular Talk, he did a video on that, and I'm like, I'm telling you, people are starving for a new politics, and that's
It
why
just comes
Israel
down
is
to whether she
underwater.
wants to do it
Yeah,
or not.
dude. And again, 2028 is still a ways off by political time. Don't be surprised if she does, because I think I even told you in a conversation, which you were actually sympathetic to this point that I made. She could be to this crop of people what Obama was to people back in '08.
Yeah.
And the difference is I think if she had the Congress to do it, she might have more follow through. Again, I don't want to give too much credit. I've
I
I've
will
learned to be
tell
very
you
tempered.
right now, I have followed AOC since she won in 2018. There is little to no doubt in my mind that she would have significantly more follow through than Obama if Congress was actually behind her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, and again, but that's a whole different discussion, and I feel like we've
Dude,
had a really
she
good
has
discussion
been
here.
on
So yeah,
fucking IG Reels criticizing capitalism as a system before. Like, she is not the level of sellout that a lot of these fucking bread tube fucks like to paint her as.
yeah, and you know what, man, I trust you, and I believe you. It's just, yeah, I've just been very politically traumatized routinely,
Yeah.
so I'm like a prove it to me day by day kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But yeah, I mean, the point being, when you just focus on the masses rather than any individual avatar or persona, they are starving, bro. And I think it scares the establishment a little bit because, like, you look at Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer has come out and said, like, my job is to keep the Democrats like pro-Israel and to keep money going to Israel. That ain't gonna happen, homie. You're underwater with everybody as far as actual
Mm-hmm.
constituents
He's
go
dude.
because
He is literally, or no, not Hakeem Jeffries. Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is the least popular senator in his home state in the country right now.
yeah. Yeah, and I think part of that has to be, I don't know for certain, but I'm making an educated assumption here. Part of that has to be what a shill he fucking is for Israel.
Well, and
The
dude,
same
the thing
way,
is, I don't think that it's a mindset of like fuck Israel so much as it's a mindset of fuck prioritizing any country over us when we're dying.
also true. That's also true. But also, I really do have to push and say, like, the idea that it's Israel specifically when they've live streamed like an intensification of a genocide, because we know it's been going on for decades, but especially these last few years, it is such an ugly fucking look. And like, yeah, they're getting cooked over it, as they fucking should. So I really think the masses again are starving for something new, and I think really, to me, 2028, or excuse me, the midterms coming up in November.
2026, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
2026.
thing, dude. The midterms that are coming up, it's like even if Dems take total control of both chambers of Congress, they're still going to have to basically just obstruct until they can get a sitting president.
Here's the thing. What I'm intrigued about, and then this is where I want to end it on my side, because again, I think we've had an amazing discussion, but I do also want us to get out of here, is like, not only is it going to be an indictment of the Trump regime, which all the data is indicating that it will be, and I agree with you, too big to rig, but I do also think in part it's going to be a referendum on the Democratic Party, because
Yeah,
I'm curious what kind of Dems are going to win
yeah.
their elections,
I
like
mean,
how
dude,
many progressive Democrats win,
even like
you
Dan
know?
Osborne not running as a Democrat, I think, is an indictment of the Democratic Party because he, by all means, that dude is a Democrat through and through, but he doesn't want to fucking identify with them because the name brand value of the Democratic Party is so fucking bad in this country as a whole, but more specifically in the red states. They fucking hate the disingenuousness of the Democratic Party to the point that not only do we have Dan Osborne running as an independent in Nebraska and he might actually fucking win in Nebraska, there is like a teacher, a professor in Montana running as an independent who might fucking win. Can you imagine a fucking
Yeah.
a non-Republican winning in fucking Montana for fuck's sakes? Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, things are happening, people, and that's why, like, I sometimes hate having to report all like just the ghastly things that the powers that be are doing, which we still should, because everybody should be aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, so much is happening. First of all, the news wouldn't want to capture it all because I think they do want our brains doused in cortisol constantly. And second of all, always believe in the power of people like in organized groups. You know, that phrase, go where the helpers are. There are a lot of helpers. Some of them are working on official campaigns. You know, with Mamdani, it took a village, right? I'm sure there were a lot of people that believed him and supported his candidacy and stuff
Dude,
like that. And
even
now
like
we're here.
his transition team to become mayor included Lena Khan.
Exactly. Which, by the way, again, and I know this is an older story, but Lena Khan could be coming back into social currency and politics because apparently a
Good.
lot of Democrats have been blowing her phone up.
Good. They
Why?
should be. The Democrats who are calling Lena Khan about how to campaign are the correct ones. Like, that's just the end of the story. If you are smart enough to know that Lena Khan is who you need to call to figure out how to win a fucking election, you deserve to win that election. End of story.
And when I said earlier that Zoran has really been exposing the bullshit, like, I love how Democrats, especially, because here's the thing. They're not an opposition party, but they're the only party we have, right?
Yep.
So you got to make them fucking work. I love how they make it seem, and I want to try and phrase this correctly. But like, I love how they try and segregate issues, like that you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. It's like, look, I can either
Right.
be really good on the economy, or you want me to do this culture war stuff. Like when Gavin Newsom came out and he's like, "Oh, I think it's time to be more culturally normal." That was 100% coded to let's throw trans people under the bus. Let's focus on the economy. I've seen think pieces where it's like Democrats should stop talking about climate change. No, we should be talking about that all the fucking time. And again, Zoran, he hasn't thrown people under the bus. He is straight up said, like, oh yeah, I would still call Donald Trump a fascist, and still has Donald Trump, like, beaming at him whenever he fucking looks at him. He balanced the budget, per your point. Again, that was thanks to you bringing that up in our politics segment. He's shown that you don't have to do this, like, ideological segregation of issues, that you can, like, have solidarity with multiple people at once and still care about, universal things like the economy, which affects everyone. Stop feeding us the fucking bullshit. Because that is the one thing I worry about with 28. We got to cross the midterms first, of course. But the one thing that worries me with 28 is that the Democratic nominee could potentially be somebody that's like, oh, that really doesn't talk about climate change much, or like talks about trans people in very coded language that, again, is just like, hey, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm trying to win an election. And it's like, it doesn't have to fucking be that way. And I think people are getting really fed up, and I hope they stay fed up, honestly, until things change. Because it starts with us, guys. It really does. And the DNC knows it. Because us rejecting Israel, for instance, you can see politicians have taken that to heart. Because either they're talking about Israel less, or they're even coming out and denouncing Israel as far as like the genocide goes, and cost of living, talking about that. Again, very easy attack ad with Trump's words. It really just begins with us. And when we say push people further left, I'm not even just talking pro. Make these people's lives hell because they serve you. You pay fucking taxes. And let's get more and more populist Democrats in there because it's time for a new kind of blue wave. The establishment Dems, that's over and done with. I'm over it. This is the new crop here that if we're gonna have to do electoralism while we're building class consciousness, it's either this or bust. So congrats to Zoran. Hopefully Nebraska goes well. AOC is clearly ascendant, so we'll just have to see.
Dude, you
But
gotta
with that said,
realize, like,
yeah,
the the Senate map is kind of insane because, like, we're looking at, so the locks are like Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota, Illinois, Virginia, Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. But then, like, New Hampshire, I mean, your state, we're probably going to get your another Democrat there. I think is it Maggie Hassan that's retiring?
yes, I
So
believe
we're
Maggie
probably going to
Hassan's
get
the one.
another Democrat in her place. North Carolina, dude, Roy Cooper, the former governor, or the current governor, I should say, is running. He's almost definitely going to win the Senate seat there. Georgia, I believe it is maybe even both John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock running there, but regardless of which one it is, they're probably going to keep their seat. Then we go to Michigan. I know you know this guy, El Said.
Yes, I really liked him. Yeah,
Not
from what
only
I've
is
heard.
he the most likely to win the nominee, but Democrats almost always win in Maine. Not always, but most of the time, and especially him specifically because he is that populist message. He's most likely going to win. Graham Plattner is almost definitely going to win.
Yes.
Dude, Sherrod Brown, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, is probably going to win Ohio. And then Mary Peltola is probably going to win fucking Alaska. Alaska is about to go blue. They're going to vote for a Democrat senator. And then we've got two states that I'm seeing currently listed as pink, but I think one of them specifically is going to go blue, if not maybe even both of them, in Iowa and Texas. And if all of that shit happens, and I say if because there's no lock here, but it is, I really do think that it's a really good chance if one of Texas or Iowa goes blue, and again, Ken Paxton winning the Republican nominee in Texas, which that runoff election is 9 days away, happens May 26th. If Ken Paxton wins that nominee, you can say goodbye to Texas being a purely red state because James Tallarico is winning that Senate seat. Then that would put Democrats up to 52 seats.
Yeah.
And then if Dan Osborne goes and wins Nebraska, you're talking about 52 to not 48, but 47 with the independent shoved in there as well. Like, we're talking Fetterman proof majority here. And that's with 2028 Senate elections pending, with 2 years of Democrats being in control of both chambers, basically being able to just block anything Trump tries to do because there are fucking adults at the steering wheel now.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, honestly, and just looking at the other side of the coin, say a scenario where they actually do create the infrastructure in their favor to rig and obstruct certain victories for the Democrats. Their policies are causing a lot of civil unrest as it is. So
Dude,
enjoy that boiling pot of water.
if they fuck over this election in such a way that they prevent a bunch of different states from being able to elect who they want to elect, we could actually be looking at a fucking revolution for real.
A revolution or civil war, I think. Even I'm
I
telling you, man, the
mean,
social fabric is very frayed right now. I
to be
think.
clear, like when I say revolution, I would include civil war as a possible outcome of that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like if it's really going to go that way, because again, you have to look at what's happening below, and what's happening below is a lot of pain, a lot of fear, and most importantly, a lot of anger and just really like
But here's the thing
disapproval
though,
and
like
discontentment.
in the current state of the economy and the way that things are going, what Trumpist is willing to go to war for him?
I can't imagine, man. Because here's the thing. Can I circle back to something you said earlier?
Yeah.
When you mentioned the scenario about the Strait of Hormuz still being closed by September,
Yeah.
dude, like any Trumpists that were left, you know that like they could nuke California, which I mean, God, don't give them any ideas, and they would be like, oh, they had it coming or whatever, even though that
I mean,
would
yeah,
fuck over all
they
of
might
us.
be upset
You know?
about it on day one, but then day two, the Fox News talking points come out and tell them what they should be thinking about it, and then they're fine with it.
Yeah, they'd coordinate with the IDF. Turns out Hamas was burrowed in California, and whatever. But more to make the point, without rhetorical flourish or whatever, that they would just be ride or die with anything. Like if the strait is still closed by September, can you imagine the prices? Can you imagine the food shortages? Everything. And anybody that was still like, no, he's made my life, but like you're gone. You're gone. Like again, I don't like giving up on people, but like when you look at material conditions, like is the psychological wage of whiteness really that substantive for you that you're like, oh, people that don't look like me suffering, that's good enough for me when the bread is literally like being ripped out of your mouth. So yeah, like I even think about that because dude, here's the thing. You say that, and when you said it the first time, I'm thinking, well, let's look at who's at the helm of this. Ain't no fucking way they're getting that shit open. Because even if Trump really wanted to do it, that would have to mean defying Israel in a way that he hasn't across his two terms.
Yep.
Like he would really have to put a hard line with Israel, like this is over. Because let's keep it real. This is their war for a greater Israel.
Yep.
Again, Netanyahu has said, "I have wanted this for 40 years,"
Yep.
which is crazy again because, and again, material conditions. Israel has a huge mental health crisis right now. Everybody's fucking suffering. Everything fucking sucks because who would have thought that doing a genocide and like again or intensifying a genocide, be fucking clear, and having your military fight for 900 days, who would have thought that that wasn't going to spread happiness to everybody? But they're already collapsing. And in fact, people have even said like Israel isn't going to have an economy in 10 years or even be in existence in it because the price they have paid for this, nobody wants to talk about. And now they're trying to get the US to pay their own premium for it by dragging them into this war. And yeah, I 1000%, all of this to say, I 1000% see a scenario where the Strait of Hormuz is still closed by the time the midterms come.
Yep.
And at that point, what ads do you even need to run? How much are you paying for? Which I even wonder if gas could climb even higher. Like
Dude,
again,
there's no
California.
It is going to continue to climb. Like
Yeah.
it's only going to get worse as long as
Yeah.
the strait is closed. There's no if. There's no if about it. It's happening. The gas prices are not going to get better until and that's the thing too is even if and this is an if to me, even if Trump manages to get the strait open back up, even if it is like US force, like he throws a bunch of like fucking US Navy ships and shit out there to try and like take control of the strait and open it back up forcefully. If he doesn't get that done by like the middle of September, it's not going to affect people's wallets by the time the midterms happen because this shit doesn't happen overnight. It is like a fucking ripple effect that takes time to take place. That's why I said September. I specifically said September because it takes like 6 to 8 weeks for shit happening in the Strait of Hormuz to reach us here in the country, in the States.
Well, first of all, you are correct about that, but I also have to add that when you look at the economic repercussions just more broadly, I think I've even heard people say that it might even take us like a full year economically to recover from the damage done by the strait being closed like this long. Like, so imagine if it's already a year at this point, how long would it even take by September, even like beyond that most immediately? Like, and none of this had to, like, if I was a Democrat, I am telling you the one thing I would put in an attack as this did not have to happen. This did not have to happen. This did not have to happen. Iran did not attack us. There were no plans to attack us. I think even Caroline Leavitt said as much, like, oh, there was no like impending attack. Okay, so like, what the fuck are we doing? No, the whole thing's been a disaster. If they do not lose in a fucking blowout, then you know that they were able to rig it, and then they still lose to me in the long term because, well, good luck with that civil unrest and utter civil collapse, which maybe they're prepared for because, as people have pointed out, all these warehouses that are being bought, it ain't just for fucking immigrants, people. Like it's gonna, which is bad enough, by the way, but it's gonna be for anybody they consider dissenting. That's why they've put out more paperwork on counterterrorism, the more of these press releases. Like, they know we're angry and they're trying to prepare. I just don't know if it's going to go that well for them. How at this point, this government is so fucking insane that I never really thought about it in a US context, but I even sometimes wonder, like, could we ever see even a military coup? Because, like, shit is so fucking nuts and unstable, nobody's fucking happy. And yeah, midterms are going to tell a hell of a lot about the state of the country. And I think it's going to be a referendum on both parties. And for the Republicans, it could be Armageddon. Like, I really don't know how you come back from this. And I know short-term memory, like historical memory, is usually so short, but I mean, I don't know if people are going to forget about Trumpism for a while. As far as Republicans, you could try and put
They
forward
are
another candidate. I don't know if it's
absolutely
going
going to, my friend.
that's
Honestly,
the
my
unfortunate thing.
greatest fear about
Yeah,
like the sort of midterm future of this country is that we elect a Democrat and they do some really great stuff, but they can't turn things around fast enough, and the country just fucking forgets about how bad things are under a conservative rule, and they just vote another fucking Republican in 2032. Like, that is
I
my
have. Yeah,
deepest concern for like the midterm, like the medium term future of the country, is just the insanely short term memory that we have, because that's basically exactly what happened with Biden. Like, Biden did a really good job of turning the economy around. He turned the economy around faster than basically any other civilized country in the world from COVID. And we were like, fuck you. The inflation is still too high. Everything's still too expensive. Go the fuck away.
yeah. No, I absolutely share your concerns. Hence why I even led with like historical memory. And this country has historically, historically been short, which is really the most tragic thing. Because, but here's the thing, though. At the same time, if you actually did populist governance from the left,
Yeah.
I mean, FDR won 4 fucking terms, right? So like, if you plant it, they will come. If you feed them, they will stay. However you want to put it. Like, if you have good governance, you're not gonna have to worry about the erosion of that memory because you're constantly replenishing that memory with new good shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I want more of this new good shit. I just want to answer Draven very quickly because he said in chat, just curious, what was the highest gas prices got during the Iraq War? Now this is an AI overview. During the Iraq War, U.S. gas prices steadily rose, with the national average reaching a peak of $4.11 per gallon in June 2008, while prices dipped below $2 immediately after the 2003 invasion. They increased over the next 5 years, averaging $3.27 for 2008 as a whole. So I feel like, have we already broken that average? I mean, Jesus
Oh yeah,
Christ. I mean,
dude.
if we,
It's like 470 at this point.
goddamn,
But
goddamn.
that also is like with inflation.
Right. But I mean, when you've got people that are probably looking at George W. and being like, you know what, you should still rot in hell, but since you're not going to do that, I guess you could sleep for now until your life runs its course. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, when people even put that, even George W. Bush, we talked about it on the show last week, even he wasn't like, let's invade Iran.
Which literally
Goddamn,
also
son.
means that Dick Cheney didn't go with it, and he's a literal warmonger.
Dude, which also means, to bring it full circle, I mean, that Epstein blackmail, that has to be like, goddamn. What
How
exactly?
bad could it
Yeah.
possibly be? Everyone already fucking knows that Trump is a monster.
Maybe he just doesn't want to confront it himself. I don't know. But then again, that would
Is
imply
it
that he has
just
any
that
sense of
he got
conscience.
head from Bill Clinton and that's what he's embarrassed about?
Dude, I think you're right. Because Republicans are so fucking warped, they would be more mortified by homosexuality than pedophilia. Oh my god. I think you nailed it. No, that's how I want to end the show. That's perfect. All right, Bill Clinton apparently to Donald Trump. That's my headcanon now. So, yeah, that was your high spot. Was Was
Dan
say
Osborne.
the guy's name
Dan
again.
Osborne.
Dan Osborne. Yeah, Dan Osborne, the good Osborne, not like those Spider-Man cosmic Osborns. But yeah, fucking Nebraska. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, guys. This has been a very lively, very cozy weekly recap. This is going to be one of my favorites to go in the archive. Leave a like as you file out. Subscribe. Click the bell icon for notifications so you miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best podcast on the internet today. And we will see you guys again. Maybe Wednesday for more Motor Gold. I have to first of all see when family time is happening in my household, and we kind of go from there. And yeah, beyond that, I probably do Stardom this week. I have to imagine All Star Grand Queendom will be up. And then if you're not really into any of that and you're like, I'm only here for this because you guys just comprehensively cover everything, weekly recap is every Saturday at 10:30. So until we meet again, have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Keep fighting out there. Keep finding your joy because joy is resistance. Stay alert. Stay ready. And just keep being good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.